Man, this music sounds great, doesn't it? Wow. Listen to that music. It really, really sounds good. Okay. Let's make sure I got everything in line. Good do. Okay. Well, I just got word from the powers that be. We're going to be having about 30 additional visitors to the chat in a very short amount of time, folks. So, very exciting stuff. So, I'm into it. So let's say hi to people. Happy New Year, everybody. It's 2024, just like that. How about it? Hello, King. Good to see you. We have a lot of people coming to join us, and thank you all for being a part of this tonight. I have some things to say at the top. I got some presents. I got some gifts in the mail while I was away, and seeing him now as I came in was really, really awesome. Like, it was really great to see. So I'm incredibly humbled by your all's generosity, and I hope to repay the favor. It's really, really cool to see everybody here. Like, what's your address? I'm like, I just gave my address, and I've got some really cool items. Okay. Yeah. I think we'll start the stream a little early, just so I can recognize people before people from Kenny's channel raid in. Kenny actually started a stream as like a pre-show, to this show that where we will all hang together, and I'm honestly really pleasantly surprised. Like, I think I thought we were just gonna go on together, but this is even better. It's like I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody jump in at once. So let's start about a minute early. And then I'll recognize some folks who are really kind of sending really cool gifts for the holidays. And it's really just the tip of the iceberg. But let's do it. Thank you so much, everybody. All right, I think I got this all set up. Okay. I hope my levels are coming in well. I can't tell at this point. So, hi, welcome to the Sandwich Show. We kick off our third calendar year on stream. We're about a year and a half into our show's life, but we're about 2.5 years into our show's life. My name is Davey, and I will be your host for this evening. We feature interviews here on the Sandwich Show. Most of the time, once a week, and sometimes it's twice a week, and once in a while it's 0 times a week. But this week we have a very, very good friend of ours rejoining us, and it's our friend Kenny, who was from Kenny's Prog Rock Jukebox and the Jukesters, now retired from the day-to-day streaming. But you do see him on occasionally, including right now. He is on doing some just chatting with the proggy community and the Jukester community, just chatting about things, and we'll continue that conversation once they join us here on this channel. Really great to see you all here. Good to see you, Rothgar Aurora, as well. King says, I have not seen you all year. Neither have I. Well, I want to give a shout out to 2 other people, and King, if you could shout these people out as I mention them, just before we get this raid. First of all, Carlo had been showing this on stream over at the Stream Scribes. Let's give the Stream Scribe ! Carlo. This is the book that he set up for my long time subscription history on the Stream Scribe. And this is I Predict the Riot. Cards of Chiefs and Davey. That's very kind of you. Very, very, very considerate. Thank you, Carlo, for this awesome gift. But the more unexpected pleasure of this exchange was following a couple of texts I got from our friend and the mod here on the channel, Jason L. Rush. Shout out Jason as well. I think I have a shout out for Jason. Let me use Jason here. Hey Charlie, good to see you. Welcome in. Okay, so Jason sent this to me. Isn't that just a scream? Like, look at this. This shirt is really cool. Like, Jason, thank you so much for that shirt. Like, amazing. Like, I appreciate you, Jason. So that is how we kick off 2024 on the Sandwich Show. Really awesome. Gosh, thank you again. Like, really, really good stuff. So we're gonna chat with Kenny, another good friend of ours. If you remember, 2 years ago, we had Kenny on to begin the 2022 calendar year. It was a really fun time. It's going to be a very different conversation this year, though, because Kenny, as we mentioned, is retired from day-to-day streaming and doesn't even live in a permanent home anymore. He and his wife, Wendy, are now traveling primarily in Mexico, but also other parts of the world. And the experiences so far sound like they've been really positive. So I'm very excited to catch up with Kenny and see what he's up to. And, as part of that, he was able to stream for a week because he had an Airbnb with a piano in it. And that looked like a good time. And now he's been enjoying all kinds of food, including tacos. We have our sandwich of the week coming up later in the program, but not that much later. We're going to do it pretty early, quite early. Jax is homeless. Hashtag homeless. in a way, yeah. And Kenny says, "You ready?" I am ready. Come on in, everybody. Like, looking forward to bringing everybody in with our first riot of the season, or our first riot of the calendar year. Let's do it. Homeless is a nice word for nomadic. I guess that's one thing about, it's really a really good way to put it indeed. Yeah, this is a fun time. If we get a hype train tonight, we get our usual hype train trivia, and boy, we are going to have a category that's going to be very, very entertaining if we get to hype train trivia tonight. And we'll take it from there. It should be really fun. Like, there's just a lot to talk about. This will be quite a night. Yeah, I think I already have like two or even three preset ideas for where to rate. So those are getting first priority tonight. And then we will just collect, when we get to rating time, we will collect our people together and make the call. But it's going to be quite a night. There's already a little drunk, says Kenny. Dang it. That's the shame of it. I don't have any liquor tonight. I didn't position myself anything to drink except water. So, I'll have to drink vicariously through Kenny tonight. So, but it's folks like our friend Kenny that make this show so fun, and I'm really, really looking forward to tonight. And if you have New Year's resolutions or goals and you want to share them on stream, you can as well. Don't forget, you can ask our questions of our friend Kenny as Kenny comes in. King says, just like that, Davey becomes the balance is so bright. Well, for like an hour, I guess, and then we'll get back to it. But it's kind of funny. I didn't drink that much during the holidays at all. Like, I think I had a total of like 4 beers in 10 days. That's kind of disappointing. I don't know. I gotta step up my game, I think, this year. Jack says, Kenny is a little drink is like saying Alaska is a little cold. This is my favorite thing about Kenny collabs, is that the chat comes through whenever Kenny's in town. That's pretty funny. Yeah, this is gonna be good. It's interesting because I was like, what am I gonna ask Kenny these days? Because there's nothing. We don't really have anything specific to promote. Like, he doesn't stream. He's not doing gigs. But the one thing I would definitely promote, as far as here they come. Welcome in, friends. So good to see you again. Let me bring you all in. It's nice to see you again, Proggies and Kenny. Happy 2024! I predict a riot. I predict a riot. Oh my goodness. Welcome in, friends. fantastic Kitty and Senorita Wendita, and Jack Dostal, who's actually jumped the line and got in a little earlier. Rosie, it's good to see you. Laquetta. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting the name. Abraham, welcome in. It was actually it was just a few months ago. Like Abraham and I were like hanging out for here in LA. So if you're ever back in town, let me know. We can pick up that conversation. But anybody else here? Purple Music Box, Sneezy, Farrell, Uncle Al, Barbara Joy. I hope you all can hang out. Kimmy's here too. Welcome in. And Lord Choice is in the house. Good to see you, Lord Choice. Choice is joining us here tonight. Glad to see you. So anyway, my name is Davey. I'm a variety streamer based in Los Angeles, California. And the Sandwich Show is back at it again for a new year. And I think what I do is I present interviews with people throughout the universe, whether they be on Twitch or other platforms. And even in a scenario where people aren't on platforms, sometimes it's good to catch up with them anyway. So it's actually one of the things I want to do this year, and Kenny's a good example of one. We'll see if we can catch up with people who, or maybe former streamers and see what they're up to these days. Like, where are they now? I think that's something that's one of the themes I want to use for 2024. It'd be a fun one. Tina, so good to see you again as well. But yeah, and I also play games on stream, notably golf with your friends. I play music on stream too. And I do just chatting streams very similar to what Kenny did. Like, the hangover at Kenny's channel is pretty cool. So, I'll have just chatting hang similar to that on this channel too. So, yeah, Happy New Year to you. The Rayman is in the house. Nice to see you. Yeah, this is terrific. So yeah, Ken will probably need another minute or two to get going and get into the Zoom. I'll check Discord DMs too, just to make sure that he's in. One of the funny things I thought about with like this camera, I've long felt like the camera was too close to my face. So I'm actually backing up right now just to see how does it compare. But by the way, how are your holidays? How did any of you have time off in the last couple weeks? I hope you did. Hope you had a chance to, get to decompress and relax and all these cool things. And I hope you had some great eats between, Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, and New Year's and and anything else that came in between. Like in Mexican culture, and this is something I bet you Kenny's just learned. Like they celebrate saint days, and saint days are like birthdays in a way. So if your name is named after a saint, it's like having another birthday. And so when the person's saints, when your namesake has their saint's day, you get celebrated like it's your birthday. It's a pretty fun little thing. Oh, thank you for the oh my goodness, Tina, thank you for the gift sub to Drunky to Kimmy. Thank you for the 100 bits, Kenny. It's great to see you. We got a hype train. Holy cow! Thank you so much, everybody. You get a birthday. Well, thank you. All right. Well, let's do some trivia. I had some trivia tonight about Super Mario Brothers. We can actually do it while we're waiting for Kenny. So let's go ahead and do the thing. And here's our trivia tonight. Oh, not like that though. That's a great effect though. I gotta tell you that's pretty exciting. Now why does it look like that? Oh, I know why. I know why. Because Kenny's not in the call yet. That's why. But that's okay. We'll make this work. Oh shit! You know what else? I forgot. I'm on the wrong. I have to fix this. I know how to fix that. I'm going to change this. Okay. I think that should make more sense. Okay, there you go. Oh, there we go. Kenny's here. Let's say hello to our friend Kenny. In just a moment, we'll pop up on screen right here. I see Kenny join us. Maybe I should wait till you're on. Oh, there you go. Can you hear us? Hello. Hello.
Hold on. All right, hang on. Hold on. What is that? I'm getting you in my ears, but it's coming through the computer speakers also.
Oh, weird. That is weird. Is the stream on too?
No.
Okay.
I got it.
Got it? Cool. Well, welcome back.
Check 1 2.
Hey, I can hear you. You sound good.
Hold on, I'm echoing. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, how about now? 1 2 1 2 1.
Um, it's a little muffled. Try it again.
Muffled, check this out. I'm
Yeah.
echoing.
All right. Let me see. I'm not sure if that's your end or mine. Okay. Uncle Al, thank you for the 200 bits, by the way. Raw, thank you for the 100 bits as well. Appreciate the hype train. See if this is better. I think
Okay.
Kenny is speaking Klingon, says Debbie. Nice to see you, Debbie. Welcome in. So now, Kenny, you're completely frozen. Oh, there you go. You're back. Hello.
Okay, I'm trying again. Is this
Okay, yeah,
good?
that sounds great. That sounds really good. I like that. Can you hear okay on your side?
It's telling my internet connection is unstable.
Really? That's funny. Was it okay when you were streaming, though?
Yeah,
Huh.
I'm
Unusual.
doing a lot. Let me turn off Twitch on my browser. Hold on. Okay.
Debbie says, your internet connection and I have a lot in common. Ah! Debbie said, that's great.
Okay.
Joe,
I
it's
gotta
good to
turn
see you.
on.
Joe Lopes Bronx. Welcome in. Good to see you, friend.
His name is actually Joel. Joel Opes.
Joel.
Ah! Yeah.
Oh, that almost had a disaster right there.
We
Uncle Al.
actually convinced Dippy from Australia that his name was Joel Opes, and he still thinks to this day, he always says, "Hi, Joel."
You got him good. That's funny. I love it.
Joel Opes. So the thing is that we when we first started streaming, and for the first, I don't know, probably 38 months,
Mhm.
we would have all sorts of fun with Joe Lopes's name. Because if you remember, we used to have the song titles. Joe was with us from the first show, and he was one of the most, if not the most consistent requester and supporter of
Debbie,
the shows.
thank you.
And we would hi Debbie, thank you. Um, so we would
Hi, Dark. Hi, Miss Gail.
we would
Good to see
change
you.
we would change the names. We would change Joe's name on the screen. So like if he requested Werewolves of London, it would be Werelopes of London. We would work his name
Yeah.
into every title. If we couldn't work it into the title, we just it would be whatever song he requested by Joey Envelopes or Cantaloupes or so we would
Spark.
he used to request Low Spark of High Heel Boys by
Yeah.
Traffic, and we would do Lopes Spark. Hi, Marcy.
Marcy, good to see you as well. And yeah, Dark Native and Debbie, thank you for the 1,500 bits. Uncle Al, thank you for your 200 bits. And Drunky Skunky, thank you. Kimmy's back in the mix. Good to see you, Kimmy. We got the Bean Boozled.
We got Bean Boozled.
Let's get it in early before we do sandwiches. Let's just
do it quick, and then we're gonna eat sandwiches. I'm fucking hungry.
Let's go. Okay, yeah, we'll make it quick. So let's. Okay, it's great to see you all. Yeah, it's nice to see you again. Oh, Alistair, good to see you. Can we give a shout out to Alistair UK? This is eliminated because toothpaste is too easy. So we'll go with this one instead. Okay. This is either birthday cake. No, wait. What's the right? I think it's birthday cake or Tutti Frutti or Stinky Socks. I couldn't remember. It's been so long.
It's not fit in my ears.
I'm gonna call this fruit. Tutti Frutti. I take credit. Yeah. Yay me. Let's go. Sorry, cat. Okay. So, thank you for the redeem, Alistair. Sorry, but it didn't work out though. Okay, Kenny, you ready to do the sandwiches?
Yes, I am.
All right.
So,
well, let me just do the quick intro really quickly. And
sorry.
What is that?
There we go. We did it quick. All right, ready for you.
Okay. Well, I kept them in a.
Drinking what?
Wendy is appalled by the amount of vodka that I've drunk in the last couple of days. Apparently, she's like, "He's holding up the bottle." She's like, "Whoa, what's up with that?"
What the fuck?
Okay, so rather than sandwiches tonight, we have some Mexican street food.
Ooh. Ah.
So these are the salsas, otherwise known as sauces. I don't know which one is pecan. So here's the thing about Mexico. You can walk into 10 different restaurants, and at 5 of them, the red will be picante and the green will be no picante.
Mhm.
Picante is spicy. And the other 5, the green will be picante and
Right.
the red will not be picante. So you never freaking know.
You're right.
Don't trust anybody. You can't trust anybody. I have no idea which is which. However, this is definitely guacamole, and these are definitely limes. So, what you can do is, by the way, if you're in the chat and you're saying hello to me, I'm sorry, I can't keep up with the chat right now. So, here's what we have tonight. So I have
Yeah, you're right,
some
Tina.
stuff, and Wendy has some stuff. What did Tina say? Hold on.
They keep you guessing.
Picante is green 50% of the time.
It's true.
And I have trust issues because of this, baby.
It's fair.
I've
It's
got
fair.
trust issues.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what this is.
All
Okay,
right.
this is one is mine. Wendita, this one is yours. Wendita, come on the camera.
It's good.
And
Wendy.
you want to bring some plates over, or you just want to eat off styrofoam? Slide over a little bit.
Hey, Wendy. It's good to see you again.
Here she comes. Here she comes.
Walking down the
Come to
street.
eat taco.
Hola.
Hi.
¿Cómo está?
Okay,
Feliz Año Nuevo.
so mujeres
That means Happy New Year.
primero.
We have napkins?
Napkins are over
Yeah.
there. Okay, so tonight, what Wendy will be eating is,
Ooh,
I'll show them.
drum roll.
Oh.
That's the camera right there.
Ooh.
Wait.
That is a birria quesadilla.
I don't know if to go up or down.
Oh, the camera's right here.
Oh.
Full size
Oh, so it's yes, a birria,
Okay, so we may have to tear it open and show everybody.
quesadilla.
birria quesadilla.
That was
So
good.
birria in its truest sense
Mhm.
is like a goat stew.
Yeah. Mhm.
I believe that there is beef inside of this particular birria quesadilla. And what I got, and what brings Davey and I together on a certain level,
Mhm.
is tacos al pastor.
Ah, fantastic. They look great.
It's pork. It's marinated in aciote with pineapple. What do they call it? Cilantro and onion.
Mhm.
On a corn tortilla. The quesadilla, I believe, is on a wheat flour tortilla. Arena is what they call it down here.
Yeah.
And let's taste it, Wendy. Let's see. And do you want to put any salsa on there? Yeah. See, I can't do spicy because it will haunt me overnight if I get the wrong one.
Yeah.
Now, one person taught me that you can put lime on the spicy sauce, and it's not as spicy. But
Mhm.
I will be screwed. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to put a little bit of the
Okay.
guacamole on here.
I'll quickly
Wendy
show
will
what I
tell
got.
you
Here's mine.
Wendy will tell you if it's the green, this picante or the red. Let's see. This is almost like being boozled right here. Watching Wendy with the
It's true.
with the salsa verde. All right, I'm curious then.
How is it? Ah. This is smart.
The red is rojo es más picante.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Salsa roja
Yes.
es más picante.
Más
All
picante.
right. Let's take a bite together. You ready?
Okay,
Yeah.
ready? Are we cheer?
All
Yeah,
right.
you can-
Hold on. Oh, I'm sorry, David. What are you eating?
I know,
Oh, okay.
what is Davey eating?
It's a big disappointment compared to what you have, but I got a maple banana sandwich. This is a great banana, though. What?
That's what she said.
Ah. Yeah, big letdown from what you all have. Your meal
What
looks
is it? A
amazing.
banana sandwich?
What, Wendy?
Banana sandwich?
It was a
She's got
banana,
a banana
sandwich.
sandwich.
Yeah.
What else is on there besides banana? Is it peanut butter or anything?
Well, I ran into peanut butter, so I don't have peanut butter tonight. I only have
Is
like
bananas and bread?
maple syrup, which is all I have.
Maple syrup?
Yeah.
Can you get some like marshmallow fluff or some shit? I mean, that's not a dinner. That's a dessert.
I know it's
Maple syrup?
it's not my finest moment, folks. Like
So here's a story for you. So when my son was little, he had a friend, my
Mhm.
son, whose parents were vegetarians, and they were trying to make their kids vegetarians, which is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
But this kid would not eat anything. And we had him over for dinner one night, and he wouldn't eat anything that we were prepared. And just as a joke, I forget if it was you or me.
It was me.
It was Wendy. Wendy said, "Would you like a pretzel sandwich?" And the kid was like, "Yeah." And the fucking kid sat there and ate a pretzel sandwich.
Oh
All
man,
right.
that just doesn't sound good. Like, you know.
You ready?
Ready.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, friends. Mine too. I got so much chat to catch up on right now. Let me see. Brett said something really funny. Nice banana bread. Very literal. Ha. It's true though. It's banana bread. Like, Brett's on point.
This is not warm.
Pretty good.
This might need a minute in the microwave. I hate microwaves.
Oh yeah.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
I can do it. I know.
Now Alistair says I need
No,
mustard
you
on my
sit there and
sandwich.
eat your sandwich.
I can see that. I can
Eat
see
the
that.
fucking taco over there.
It's fine.
So Wendy, one of the people in chat were
No,
wondering
they don't have
what your
this
shirt
one.
says. I don't know if Wendy can hear me, but
I'll be right back.
Oh, I can hear you.
oh, Wendy's wet.
I can
Wendy.
hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in my earbuds. You're down on the ground right now.
Wet Wendy's. Is that a place nearby?
So it's Wet Wendy's, which is a bar
Mhm.
restaurant in Cozumel.
She's a mermaid.
Oh.
Cozumel.
Mhm.
So no. So when we were in on the Riviera Maya, we went to Cozumel, and they had a band
You want me to put yours in?
going like this.
You want me to put yours in?
What, honey?
You want me to put your quesadilla?
No.
Right?
And Kenny filled it, like he went up and did a couple of songs with them.
Mm.
And isn't that Wet Wendy's? That's Wet Wendy's, yeah. I had
I
to
did
have
not
it.
play at Wet Wendy's,
Oh,
but I
no,
played
because
with a
it
band that
rained.
was playing that night.
It rained,
Oh,
and
it's
like
too
they were
hot.
like, "We're done."
Yeah. Jack says finally the guest window got much better looking.
Hey, listen, I'm not gonna argue.
Hey Dallas.
You know, I'll tell you one thing, is that one of my pet peeves is people who eat on stream. So all the
Uh-oh.
people in my community have never, after 39 months of streaming, none of these people have ever seen me eat unless they've gone out to lunch with us.
Mhm.
So,
Really good.
so this is a first. I'm sure Kimmy's very excited. Kimmy loves watching people eat.
Kenny is eating us something, you all. This is big history here, folks.
Hmm.
Oh
This is
man,
good.
that was good.
It's so good.
Kenny, I noticed
No.
there's what's the beverage in front of you? Is that a margarita? Is that a
Hmm?
Yeah.
It's not. It's absolute Mandarin, Topo Chico, and orange juice.
Oh my goodness. That is a cocktail.
Modified. And this is the second one, so I'm feeling good. Cheers. Cheers to
Cheers.
Davey's eating the sandwich.
Absolutely.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, friends.
I'm starting off a second year with Davey. Tell everybody, Davey.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I mentioned it before the raid. Like we kicked off 2022 a couple years ago. Very spirited show. I remember that very, very well. You did really well in trivia. You got 16 out of 15, which is impressive. Like that's even more than the number of questions. So, yeah, it's great stuff. Great stories. And tonight it's much the same. It's like this is really great to hang out with you all again. You have a really nice place, but yeah.
It's the same, but a lot different.
Yeah, I think so. There's like same but different. A lot of similarities. All the cool people here from your community, very much just as fun as they were back then too. So it's really nice to see you all here tonight.
I don't mean to use colorful language, but the community, that's the best fucking community. It really is. And I came back to Twitch to do 4 streams a couple weeks ago because we had a piano in our Airbnb, And the reason I came back, it was not because I missed playing. The reason I came back is because I missed the community. It's the best fucking community. So it's like it's just the best. It's the best group of people. It really is.
Well, I'll vouch for that. I mean, you all, everybody, I can speak to all of you here in the chat. Like, you all are incredible people, very warm-hearted. And I think one thing I was wondering about, how many, if you could put a number on it, like an estimate, ballpark estimate, how many people from the community would you say you've met in person up to now?
Um, I would say between 50 and 100, probably.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's really
Yeah.
good. Because it's not just 50 to 100 people from Twitch, it's 50 to 100 people from your specific community. Like, that's impressive. Like, that's.
Well, yeah, we as the Jukesters, Tommy and I, and me also,
Mhm.
we started on Facebook. The Jukesters was streamed for a full year on Facebook before we came to Twitch.
Mhm.
I was streaming for maybe 6.5 months on my own on Quarantine Keys on Facebook before I came to Twitch. So um, when we started, it was really just we were trying to tap into the local community. Tommy and I had played in a local band together. So a lot of the people who were tuning into those first couple of streams were people from Long Island, where we're from. So fortunately, there were a lot of local people, and then once we really got going, we started to meet people from all over the country. We actually planned a vacation. In October 2021, about 40 of us met up on a beach in Cancun. It was awesome.
I remember
And then we
that.
did it, we did it again in 22 in the Dominican Republic in Punta Cana.
Mhm.
And then we did it again this past October, a couple months ago, in Puerto Morelos, which is also, it's kind of Cancun.
Mhm.
So those were great times.
Yeah, yeah. Very impressive turnout. Like, lots of drinks to have be had, I'm sure. You know, lots of conversations. Yeah. What if people in the chat? What do you remember about those trips? Those of you who have attended, and Ray the Rayman says 80 unique guests from the trips. Wow, very impressive. Yeah. I mean,
So something that I've heard people say. Sorry, I don't want to talk with a mouthful of food. Um, a streamer will look at their community like they're looking in the mirror, right? So everybody who watches you, especially on a regular basis, is one click or tap away from not being watching, right? Not watching you anymore. So the people who stay around are the people who like your personality, like your stupid jokes, like the music that you play, like your stories, whatever. So all these people related to me in some way, or related to me and Tommy in the case of the Jukesters. And I remember when we were on the first trip, if you go away with 40 people, there's going to be some social dynamic that you just can't avoid. This one's wife is not going to like this one's wife, but this person is not going to like this person. People meeting for the person. There was none of that. There was no discord whatsoever. It was just like everybody got along. Everybody was like, "Yeah, great to meet you." And if you got tired of one conversation in the pool, you moved along to the next conversation in the pool. And it was such a come to life kind of a moment. How is your quesadilla, honey?
It was really good.
You liked it?
Yeah.
it looked really good.
So yeah, it went so well the first time. We'll keep doing it until people stop coming.
Yeah, phenomenal. I mean, and that might not have happened for a while. Like the way things have been going. That's a really great mark. Yeah. But it must make you feel so good because I often see that community can be a reflection, literally a reflection. Like if you think about like what your reflection would be like in a pond, and the pond would be like the community. So it must make you feel so good to see that because it means that it reflects well on your personality, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Jukesters show was so music heavy
Mm-hmm.
that it was going to reflect on the music as well.
That's fair.
We
Yeah.
our shows were completely request based, and we played. There was a lot more music than talking, I think.
Right.
So, people who would like country or rap or newer music, we're not gonna resonate with the Jukester stuff. So it was really people who like that classic rock, progressive rock kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Brett says I'm that gross algae that grows in the pond. Hey, Herbert, welcome in. Thanks, it's nice to see you.
There last time.
Yeah.
Herbert came to
Last
the last two Jukesters trips.
Oh, that's sweet. That is sweet, Herbert. Tell us about the scene. What'd you think of the beaches and everything, Herbert? I hope those went well. I think I saw Roth1415 said, I flew to New York to see the last live show. It's impressive.
Yeah. So it was it must have been May or June, and one of your stories was playing, and it was going to be excuse me, it was going to be my last gig with the band for the foreseeable future. And it was Tommy was on the gig, so Tommy and I were playing together with the rest of the band. And it was a unique opportunity. And Roth, who was in the music business, he lives in Nashville, but he's in the music business. He kind of tipped us off that he was going to be there, but then he threw me a curveball because I streamed that show. I live streamed that show on the Jukesters, and he got in the chat. He was just like, "Hey, everybody, I guess I'm not going to make it." Like he kind of threw me off the scent, and then all of a sudden he's standing right in front of me. It was great. It was such a great moment.
That is really, 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 really cool. Abraham mentions that drove out to Long Island, and I know he's based around Philadelphia, so I think that's a pretty good drive. And, I mean, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. I was gonna say commitment, but that is awesome commitment. That's pretty cool. That's very cool.
Abraham, we have two people in the chat right now between Abraham and the Rayman. They've seen more dueling piano shows than any other two humans on Earth who were not duelers.
It completely tracks. It completely tracks.
And
yeah.
Hi, Sue. So while Abraham had seen hundreds of our shows, he had never seen a live show.
Mm-hmm.
So I had my very last dueling piano show was July 7th of 23, and he said, I got to get out there. So he didn't just drive to Long Island. This was halfway out the island.
Wow.
To come see us, and he brought his teenage son with him.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in this little bar called Arugas, I think it was called, and they stayed all night and they had a great time. It was a lot of fun.
No, that's rad. That's rad. Now, was that your first time meeting those particular people? Was it your first time meeting Abraham at that?
No, we had met Abraham. We have another Jukester. This guy, his name is Vinny. Vinny is he's Mr. Social Butterfly. He's always out and about, but we met him early on in the pandemic, and he was always at the shows until things started to open back up, and then he would pop in every now and then. But Vinny was very involved in a charity called Michael's Cause.
Right.
And Vinny would host a huge barbecue in his yard every year where a few hundred people would show up, and there were bands. So we met Abraham at a Michael's Cause barbecue at Vinny's house.
Michael Cimbello, that's awesome. I know
not
who
Michael
that is.
Cimbello. It was not Michael Cimbello.
Oh, it's not
Michael Cimbello. He was a maniac.
Before that, we met Abraham.
I'm sorry. Wendy just reminded me. Abraham. So on July 4th, 2021, it was finally. Can you hear that when he's making?
Yeah.
Okay. So, it was finally somewhat safe for people to get together. So July 4th, 2021, we had a big Jukesters barbecue, and everybody came over to our house. And Abraham and his three kids came out to that. That was the first time that we had met them. And Abraham had been coming to shows for a year at that point.
Yeah. Oh, sweet. The Rayman says, I only met Abe this summer, never talked to him before Vinny's party. This Vinny's party sounded like a really great time. It sounded wild.
It's something to behold, that's for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. I hear that. Oh, thanks for the link to Vinny's charity. I appreciate that. Definitely. Michael's Cause. get in. Sounds great.
Yeah. What's Michael's? What does Michael have, Wendy? What is his? He's got some sort of congenital. What is it?
Duchenne?
Duchenne's, I think, is the name of what he has.
Oh, I see. I gotcha.
And it affects you physically.
Ooh.
He's in a wheelchair. He can get out of a wheelchair.
Mm.
And yeah, so Vinny is very much sympathetic to this family and this cause, and he raises tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars for Michael's cause every year.
I see. Yeah, the Raymans is a special form of muscular dystrophy. Ooh, I see. Well, it's a great cause. That's a great cause.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
absolutely.
I
got one more Al Pastor.
Nice. Oh, the bell. Close up. Yeah, I still think that one of my best moments, one of my biggest triumphs of the year, and I'm not even. This isn't even exaggerating. I think when I turned you on to El Fogón when you were down at Playa. That was just one of my favorite moments of the year. I'm like, I'm glad you liked it. Like, that was really great.
So I had not posted on Instagram too much at that point. If we had been somewhere, I'd post a wrap up. Here's where we were. Here's all the pictures, etc. So I said, what if we posted a picture from where we are at the beginning, and maybe somebody who's been there will have some sort of a recommendation for us. So what happened with that post was we got to Playa del Carmen, we took the picture, we posted the picture, and you did exactly what I was hoping would happen, was where you said, oh my God, you have to go to El Fogón because it's the best Al Pastor that I've ever had. And as it happened, El Fogón was 2 blocks from our Airbnb, and we went there 2 or maybe 3 times. I mean, it was very, very good. Do you want to show them the pictures of what Al Pastor looks like, and it's when it's in the wild? I sent you a picture. I don't know if that's,
yeah.
putting you on the spot.
Let me go see if it's in the.
So
it's in here.
For those unfamiliar, Al Pastor is pork.
It's in the thing, right?
Strips,
or is it?
It's sliced in thin strips and marinated in something called axiote, A-X-I-O-T-E. And then they put it on what they call el trompo, which is el trompo is the Spanish word for a top, like a top that you would spin.
Yep.
So it looks sort of like that. If you've ever been to a Greek restaurant and you see the gyro or gyro meat, it's not unlike that. So the al pastor is kind of sliced off the side of this trompo. So I took a picture of the one that the restaurant had that we got our food from tonight. And Abraham is gonna show you a picture. Maybe. I don't know.
Okay. I saw a picture of the menu in the folder share. I didn't see the
Or David.
Yeah. But I think you showed it to me too when you were at El Fogón too. So I can look that up. But I do have this. Okay.
I'm gonna pee in a second.
Oh, okay. Well, let me just show you what the finished product looked like at least, and it was pretty spectacular. Like, here it is. That's El Fogón, and it really just looks. I mean, I need to zoom in on it more, but it really.
Come talk to the people for a minute.
Okay,
you can use my earbuds if you need to hear it.
Okay. Well, anyway, these are the tacos that Kenny had at El Fogón. These look really, really great. And while we do that, hi Wendy, good to see you. But yeah, these are really great. Now, what are those your favorite tacos down where you are so far? Like, do you have any?
Absolutely.
Oh wow, yeah. No, I hear you. They're really good. Yeah.
We search for al pastor because it has the pineapple. I think that's the key.
Yeah.
It's like you have the al pastor, the pork, right? Is it pork?
Yep.
Right.
It's pork. Marinated pork.
Yeah. Right. And then you have the pineapple and then onions and whatever. And I don't know, just the two of those flavors together is just like right on.
Oh, it's so good.
So thank you for that recommendation.
Oh, you're very welcome. Absolutely. I'm kind of hankering to go back to myself. Like I was like, dang, that looked really good.
Yeah. It was great.
Cool. Yeah, and there's some chats coming in, checking in about the Vinny's Party. Memorial Day weekend, 5 bands, 250 to 300 guests, and great catered and home-cooked food. Boy, that is a party.
We went to the first one. I forget what year, 2022, I guess. The one, yeah, before that one. We couldn't make that one. And yeah, it was a great cause and like generous people. It was really great. And they
Yeah.
had bands. They had a yacht rock band.
Oh, I love it. I love
Uh, I forget which year.
it.
I'm showing everybody that I'm washing my hands.
Yeah.
Wait,
That
what am I doing?
I don't know what you're doing. You're
Oh,
listening?
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
All right.
and Alistair, my heart goes out to you too. Duchesne, yes, my nephew has the same, and he's 1 in a million within the UK. Wow. Oh man. It's rare and not pleasant for them. It can be life limiting also. Mm. Yeah. So Kenny, just as a general question, I've never really had a chance to ask you about this, but where have you always been in on yacht rock? Because there's enough of a segue to classic rock. Like, have you embraced that from the jump, or did it take some time before you kind of accepted it as part of your repertoire, or even enjoyed it to a level, or do you enjoy it, or are you just playing it just to play it? I've always wondered where you are with that yacht rock.
That is so many questions.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
All right, let's take a big sip of this drink before we start to answer.
Okay.
I actually remember the first time I'd ever heard of yacht rock.
Mhm.
I was in a band, and the bass player said, "My friend is having a yacht rock wedding." And I remember not knowing what that was. And he described it to me however he described it to me, and then I looked into it, and I was like, I fucking love this music. This is my favorite stuff. I would argue that the best music, or I should say the best rock, or the best song, whatever you want to call it, the best music came out between 1976 and 1981, which is the yacht rock era, but it's also the disco era where Donna Summer and the Peaches and Tavares and Donna Summer were doing their thing. So hey, tuba dudes,
Tuba.
you better put your tuba dudes.
Good to
emotes
see
in
you,
there.
Tuba. Yeah, I forgot those tuba emotes.
We got to meet Tuba at the last Jukesters trip also.
Nice.
But all of that music, the disco Studio 54 era music and the yacht rock, that's all music that I will never turn off if it comes on the radio. I mean, there are certain songs that I'm a little burnt out on because of all the weddings. Like, I don't need to hear September anymore. But some people will call it guilty pleasure, but for me, it's just like that's just the best music to me. Even the prog stuff that came out in that era, like my two favorite Genesis albums came out in 76 and 77. It's just when music was great.
No, I hear it. I hear it. I mean, a lot of great albums came out during those years, in every genre actually. Like, so that's cool to get your thoughts on that. I was always wondering about it.
I love it. I
yeah.
will listen to yacht rock all day long and never complain.
Mhm. Well, the one thing about it, the quality of musicianship is really, really good. Like, you ever hear about like the kind of musicians that are involved in producing songs for anybody's albums, whether it be, I mean, there were a lot of different bands. It was kind of interesting. There's no like specific bands that, I mean, there's so many of them, like the Pablo Cruz as an example, or Ambrosia, right? Atlanta Rhythm Section, is that the one? Like, was that other one? Yeah.
Yeah, I am so into you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Can't think of nothing else. Right.
Yeah. Steely Dan, absolutely. The Dan is a big part of that.
Dan, Hall and Oates, Chicago.
Yeah.
Christopher Cross, Michael McDonald, anything that Michael McDonald lent his voice to, immediately becomes, yeah. If you hear that, it's yacht rock.
Do you think Michael McDonald's got annoyed at having that stigma or that being typecasted in that role after a while?
If he was annoyed, he's a freaking idiot. It made him a ton of money and fame.
Absolutely. That's fair. Yeah, completely right. It's that identity has made him, as he's mentioned. He's like filthy rich as a result of that.
Did you ever see the Michael McDonald bits on Family Guy?
I think I may have seen one. It's pretty funny. Yeah. Where he's just interjecting and stuff. Is that the one?
Yeah,
Okay, that's
that's one of them. Yeah, and then Peter goes, he goes, "Fun." You can see it on YouTube.
yeah, for sure.
All right,
Yeah.
our plate is now empty.
Hey, there you
And
go.
I just spilled salsa all over my computer keyboard. So there you go.
Well, now you've truly lived in Mexico. If you spilled salsa on your keyboard like that,
If you don't have salsa in your keyboard, you ain't in Mexico, you motherfuckers.
are you even living? Are you even a Mexican if you don't have salsa on your keyboard?
Gaga.
T-Bone, I was thinking of that segment too. Look, do you remember the SEC TV sketch about Michael McDonald? And then, so he's like in his car. So Rick Moranis is playing him, and like he's like rushing to the studio for a Christopher Cross song. And then it's
I saw that.
Oh, you seen that? Yeah.
Was that SNL or
No,
SCTV?
SCTV. It was ridiculous.
Okay.
It was so funny. It's such a long way to go, and then he walks away, and then he has to run back just so he can do it. He comes back to sing his backup lines. Let's see. Fancy Nancy, so great to see
Hold
you.
on 1 second. Wendy, our friends upstairs would like to meet us at 10 o'clock for breakfast. Should I tell them yes or no? Okay.
Wow.
Okay, sorry.
I think you have amazing qualities of meeting people and befriending them. Like, that's pretty impressive. Like, you already have established a breakfast relationship with your upstairs neighbors. That's awesome. Like,
So here's and this is going to get a little deep here about this lifestyle. One thing that there's so much to this. This was a thing that was an unforeseen thing, but something that we've learned to embrace is that we meet a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds, far more than probably anyone else who lives just a normal, live in one place kind of lifestyle. And hold on, what did Debbie Stolick, by the way, is the funniest fucking person.
I love this
My
comment,
imaginary
right?
friends upstairs would like me to meet them for breakfast too. All right, well. So wherever we go, we meet people and we establish relationships with them. We meet some really lovely, wonderful people. So everybody who comes into our life comes with a reason. Sometimes it's for us to learn something from them. Sometimes it's for them to learn something from us. Sometimes it's a two-way street. Sometimes it's both.
Mhm.
And the part of it that's hard is that we don't generally stay places for longer than a month or 5 weeks. So, we met this lovely couple who are, upstairs in the building from us. We met them just a few days ago, and we clicked, and it was great. And we spent. She wasn't feeling well, but we spent New Year's Eve with him, and it kind of made our New Year's Eve, like Wendy and I spend a lot of time together. So, to have this third person in the mix, it really it changed the whole dynamic, and it really made our night. But then it's time. But then it's time to go, or it's time for them to go.
Mhm.
So that was one of the things that we're learning to deal with, is these short-term but meaningful relationships. And yeah, you can keep in touch on social media and keep in touch with people, but at the same time, it's like, we have a long-term meaningful relationship with Kimmy or with Joe or with Debbie in the
Mhm.
chat. Like we know these people, we've broken bread with them, and they're long-term friends, and obviously there's friends that we knew from before the pandemic. So these are people that have inspired and influenced us, in some way, or have just made our trip a little better in whatever way they did. Um, but it's hard to make these long-term these long-term relationships. So you make what you make of them, and you have to very quickly find what you're why are you here? And it sounds a little personal to say it that way, but you have to figure out what those people are there to teach you or to show you.
Mhm.
You know, because everyone who comes into your life is gonna show you something or other, or you're gonna show them something or other. You know, maybe we met somebody. I'll give you one example. We met somebody in October of 21, and up until that point, we had talked about maybe relocating our life to Costa Rica or somewhere outside of the US. It was never really anything but kind of a fantasy or a pipe dream at that point, just like a long-term plan. And we met this woman in October 21, and she said, "Oh yeah, my husband and I are here, and everything we have is with us in our suitcases. We sold our house and we sold all our things, and we're just traveling the world." I was like, nobody told me that was an option. And that was like that was the original seed for like, wow, like this is a thing that people do. And so we came into contact with them, and that was our inspiration to start looking into this nomadic lifestyle. So maybe there's somebody that we met along the way that we're passing that torch along to. They're going to say, "Oh, wow, this is kind of a cool idea. Maybe I would love to do that." You know, 90% of the people that we come into contact with are like taken aback, like, "Oh my God, you sold all your things, you sold your cars, you don't have a home base. Like you're living my dream. Like this is the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life." So, you know, if we meet people and we tell them our story and they feel empowered to do this, whether it's next week or next year or in 5 years, then that was our purpose in crossing paths with them.
Yeah,
And the same is true for us, where we've met people who have truly inspired us or me or Wendy, you know, either us as a couple or us as individuals, where they've imparted some sort of wisdom or insight to us that's changed our course.
yeah, it's quite heartwarming to see that you've met people in 2021 that inspired your future lifestyle for all intents and purposes. That's pretty neat, and it just goes to show you sometimes the things you do can truly be even deeply influence a deep influence on people's lives. So that's neat. Tuba, I did want to mention thank you so much for the 31-month resub. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Tuba. That's very kind.
You know, one thing that I've always said since long before streaming
Hmm.
is the thing that I strive to be is what was the word, compelling. That's what I just want to be compelling. I would like to be someone who instigates somebody to do something more than what they're doing, or think a different way than they're thinking, or just
Hmm.
open up their mind to something new. So this offers a far bigger buffet of people to offer that sort of influence to.
Yeah, yeah. T-Bone has a T-Bone says, "Tell Davey about that lady who rented the equipment and studio for you, Kenny."
Sure. Um, we met a woman. This was such a serendipitous thing. I'm actually surprised she's not here in the chat, but she might be working. So we um we decided to go to something that they do at the Merida. Merida is a city in Mexico, for those who don't know. Um, there's a lot of Canadian and American immigrants in Merida. I call it, the nice word is expats, but really, you know, in the US we call them immigrants, and that's what we are. We're immigrants. Um, they have a Merida English library, and every Monday night at 6:30, you pay 20 pesos, which is about $1. And you can go buy a chair at a table with people who speak English, some people who speak English, some people who speak Spanish, and everybody is teaching each other, whether it's English or Spanish, and everybody is there to learn from everybody else. And we show up at this thing. The first week we were there, we didn't really want to go. I was like, I felt like I really wanted to go to this. And we sit down at the first table that we sat down at, and there were 6 people or 5 people at this table. It was like, well, you know, we all speak English, so this isn't gonna work. So we're looking around the room to find out where there's other tables, and there's one young man sitting there, and uh he's very twitchy and itchy scratchy and blinky, and it's like, I don't know if I want to sit with this guy, but that was where we ended up sitting. And we ended up sitting with another guy who we never saw again, and these two women who were there, and it was their first time there. One woman was there for the class, the other woman was there was very well spoken in English and Spanish. And we just happened to be there all on the same night. We just happened to walk in and we connected with this one. Like it was just an immediate connection. And when the twitchy guy had gotten up and walked, was like, "You guys want to go out and have some food?" We actually got al pastor nachos that night.
That sounds amazing. I think I've had that
Yeah,
before. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we talked for hours, and it was just as it turned out, her father was a very, very famous movie star here in Mexico back in the day.
In theater.
Carlos Ancira is his name. And then as it turned out, we looked her up, and she had her own fame and fortune as someone who starred in telenovelas, and she also produced and starred in a very popular children's show here in Mexico. So she was a big deal. She gave up the show business life to raise her son, and she became a teacher, and she's got a communications degree, and she's a person who teaches politicians to find their voice and speak better and communicate better. And she was just this really super, super incredible woman who we happened to meet. But she was enthralled with us and with me, and the fact that I used to play music, and she loved Pink Floyd, and that was like something that reconnected her with that. And she was just like, I need to hear you play. I need to hear you make music. I was like, I don't play music anymore. I don't have any instruments with me. I don't have anything I can play for you. And it's hard to find a piano anywhere in Mexico. And I'm not going to walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, can I play your guitar?" So it was just a few days before we left, and she said, "Listen, I need to hear you play." And I rented, I found a recording studio, and I rented some time at this recording studio, and I want you to play for me, and we'll record it. And um, I'm not going to say no to that. It's not really who I am or what I do anymore. But she took the time to do the research and spent probably more than a little bit of money to get me in this recording studio, and recorded it. We recorded a couple of songs.
That's sweet. That is sweet. No,
Yeah, and we spoke with her on Christmas Eve. We spoke with her on New Year's Eve, and she remains a close friend.
that's amazing. Yeah, I think it's great to see the enthusiasm. I mean, that's a lot of trust. I don't think yeah. Well, I was gonna say your friend. I don't know if your friend had heard any of your music at that point. Did you have like clips to demonstrate or anything?
Oh well, I had so this was during November, so
Right.
it was our first Thanksgiving away from home. Wendy and I, before the pandemic, had hosted Thanksgiving in our home for 15 years straight.
Wow.
And it was not generally a potluck. I would prepare everything. I would prepare all the food, from the turkey down to the mashed potatoes to the stuffing to the green beans to whatever other vegetables we had. And that was my thing. That was that was my jam. And so this was our first Thanksgiving as travelers away from home. It's like, what are we going to do? We're in a foreign country, and some people that we had met had invited us, excuse me, to a local restaurant that was American owned, and they were having a traditional Thanksgiving dinner with turkey and stuffing. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I came to Mexico, to like a Thanksgiving. I'm going to be controversial for a second, but Thanksgiving in the US is like this made up story where people are just like, oh, and then we made friends with the Indians, and we had a peaceful dinner, and they taught us how to make corn. And it's just like, we were horrible to the Indians. We continue to be horrible to the indigenous people and the people who were here before. It's just like, it's just that typical whitewashing of American history, and I don't need to celebrate that. It's like, screw that. But on the other hand, I love Thanksgiving, and I love what Thanksgiving is to me is breaking bread with the people that you love and your
Absolutely.
family and your friends, and I still wanted to do that. And um, there were two people. It was this woman that we're talking about, and another guy who is has dual citizenship between Houston and Merida, and we invited them both over, and I slow roasted a couple of pork shoulders and made a little, an ad hoc Thanksgiving dinner, and we had them over. And the point of the story was that after dinner, I showed her um, a bit of one of the Pink Floyd The Wall performances that I had done because Pink Floyd kind of brought us together. It was like a connecting tissue between us.
Hmm.
So she knew that I could play, and she knew that she had heard me. She had heard some recordings at that. So
Okay.
um, so that to answer your question in a very, very long-winded way, yes, she had heard me play, but no, she had not heard me play.
Oh, I got you. I got you. Well, that is pretty cool that you got that you had that the Pink Floyd content to kind of show to your friend. Fun fact. Our family also spent the Thanksgiving, not an entire family, but some of our family spent a Thanksgiving weekend in Mexico too. Actually, it was during that same trip I mentioned to when we were in Cancun. That was kind of interesting. It's kind of the same spot. We're like, we could have turkey. We didn't. I think we just had a roasted chicken. And the salsas, which again, as you said, we didn't know which one was, whether the green one was spicy or whether it was mild or, the same,
Well,
same
the funny
debate.
story is they have a nice they have a nice slow food market on Saturdays there, and um I found a farmer who's raising heritage pigs the right way, and it was really good.
Hmm.
It was excellent, excellent pork. Before we left New York, I was really not eating very much pork. But it's once you get to Mexico, it's almost impossible not to,
Uh,
especially on the Yucatan, because there's really not many cows, uh, and you just end up eating pork. So I bought pork shoulders. I had ordered them from this farmer, and then a couple days later, I was walking to the supermarket in our neighborhood, and there was a store that said was selling turkeys. Like, oh, okay, I guess I gotta go to turkey. But I had already ordered the pork, so I was like, all right, you know what, we're doing this.
yeah. Yeah. And did it take a while to get used to the idea of Thanksgiving being, I don't know, 80 degrees and maybe kind of humid, a little different from,
You know, it didn't hit me at Thanksgiving as much as it did in the holiday season.
I
Like,
see.
the temperature here, we've basically, since we've been here, we arrived in Puerto Vallarta on December 7th. The first rain we had was on December 21st. And we've had a couple of cloudy days, but generally it's like mid to high 70s, beautiful, like just the most perfect weather you could imagine. And it does feel weird that it's December and January, and I'm going out in shorts and a t-shirt every day. Every once in a while, I'll check the weather back home to see how cold it's got. It hasn't snowed back in New York yet, but where we lived. But yeah, it's thrown me off a little bit in that it doesn't feel like it. But I'm not like I was never a big fan of the holidays anyway, so I could care less. I don't care.
Scott, it's good to see you. How's it going?
What's up, Scott? So you coming in?
I saw Scott was on stream, so are you Happy New Year to you too?
Scott
Yeah.
is, maybe Scott will come in and bring the thunder.
Yeah. It's great to see
So
you.
for those who don't know, Scott Firestone has always been a friend of mine since the
Hmm.
90s, and we've been streamer friends. And I used to teleport him into my streams, and then before we left New York, I recorded a whole bunch of songs that you can request that Scott plays along with me. It's what I did with him, but in reverse. So if you miss me, you can go to Scott Firestone's streams and he'll play along with me.
I'm looking forward to trying one of those songs out pretty soon. Actually, that was
Yeah.
one of my raid ideas. So Scott, if you are already on stream, great to see you. Thank you so much for hanging out. Scott's a good friend to all of us.
Scott is probably finishing up fairly soon.
Okay.
Hopefully he'll bring
Yeah.
some people in here, and we've got another party, a wave of party going.
Well, absolutely, absolutely, and it's a good timing too because I think we're gonna give you all a chance to ask some questions of Kenny, and we call this, my friends. Well, America.
Okay, I'm gonna ask this question, Scott. Are you gonna raid? Because
I think he is. He's got a
Because
great
I have a
call.
question that I want to ask everybody after Scott rates.
Okay.
And it's going to be putting Davey on the spot a little bit. Go ahead, Davey.
I can't wait. Let's hear it. All right, so here we go. Time for
To the dance. It's time for random questions. Great stuff. Ask us anything.
That's right. America and Mexico's favorite moment in Twitch broadcasting.
I think I asked you this before, and I don't remember the answer. Was that a jingle that is just a general jingle, or did somebody record that for you?
It was not a custom recorded jingle for me. But here comes the raid. Hey, Fox, Scott, welcome in.
Raider.
Welcome, Raiders. I gotta answer your question though, Kenny. It's a great story.
Sing it. I'll sing along.
Let's do it.
I predict the rain.
I predict the right. That's right. I predict the
I
right.
predict the rain.
Oh my goodness. What's up, Scott? So good to see you.
I predict the rain.
I predict the
I predict the
right.
rain.
I thank you for singing along, Kenny. Scott Firestone Rocks drums. Welcome in, my friend. Great to see you. My name's Davey. I'm a variety streamer based in Los Angeles. We're hanging out with Kenny, who formerly is from New York and now is currently in Puerto Vallarta. Beautiful place.
Scott
indeed.
was formerly from New York, is now in Boca Raton.
Yeah. Boca Raton. Nice. I knew it was Florida somewhere, but that's great. Yeah. He's more south than me. That's right. It's true.
More souther.
More souther, yeah. But thank you very much for the raid, Firestone's Rocks Drums. If you're not following Scott Firestone Rocks Drums, please do it. Our friend Scott's an amazing drummer and a really great friend of the community too. So come on down. Let's go start the queue.
Have you ever had Scott on the show?
That is something I'm working on. Yeah, I've not had Scott on the show. I would like to get Scott on the show.
Hello, Scott and community. Thank you for the raid.
Yeah. But no, not yet. That's there's actually a number of people from the the friends of the Prog Rock community, the Prog Rock Piano Bar. I'd like to get on the show. So Scott's definitely one of them, for sure. But oh my goodness, Scott, you didn't have to give. Thank you for your gift sub to Sue. Very kind of you.
Sue Stewart.
Sue Stewart.
That's how we say Stewart in New York. Stewart. If you ask Scott Firestone how you say Stewart, he'll say Stewart.
I dig it. Oh,
He also
passing it forward.
He also says Jukesters.
Jukesters. I like it.
Jukesters.
It's true blue. Thank you, Kimmy, for the gift sub to Firestone Rocks Drums.
So here's the question. Here's the question.
Okay.
Now that we have
Well,
Scott's community,
I did
and
still
your
want. I wanted to
community,
answer the jingle question
Hi,
too,
Brenda.
really quick, because you had the jingle question.
Oh, okay.
So the jingle question, it's a radio jingle. It was originally a Mike and the Mad Dog sports radio jingle, so that you can customize existing radio jingles and redo the lyrics at the jingle company. And so they did that for this channel, and it's beautiful. Like, it's from Jam Creative Productions, really, really good company.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, let's get your question.
Cool. Okay, so I have a notebook here. There's nothing written on this page. I'm going to write. Down the line, but I decided to stop writing. So here's what I want to know in the chat from the people. I'm going to write down who you remind me of. Not necessarily the way you sound or the way you act, your personality, but it's just more of the way you look. Because we just got done watching a TV show.
Oh, I think I know where this is going.
It was a series, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to ask the chat. Who does Davey is eating a sandwich remind you of? What TV show character? And I have written it down on this piece of paper, and I folded it up, and I want to know in the chat if anybody guesses it or if everybody guesses it. And of course, Davey, you are welcome to guess as well because you don't even know the answer. But,
I don't. Let me think this through. Can I get a hint? Is it a show?
So this is purely Davey's appearance.
Hi,
this is not his personality or his voice or his mannerism, nothing. It's who does Davey kind of remind you of who was a character on a TV show, let's say in the last 5 years?
Okay. So I'm thinking...
No, you can't say Senorita because you already know.
That's great. Tubas is William Shatner. That's a good guess. Tina says Jimmy Fallon. That's another good guess, but that's probably more of a visual
Come
look
on, chat.
than
There's
anything.
70-something of you, 66 of you here. Take a guess. Maybe you haven't seen the show.
I
don't know.
have guessed the guy that Aziz Ansari plays in Parks and Recreation. I think is who I'm thinking of, because some people have sometimes compared me to him. But, oh, that's a good call. Jack says Guillermo from Jimmy Kimmel's show. It's a good pull. Okay, right on, Scott. Enjoy your lurk. Thanks so much for the lurk.
I'm really disappointed in this community. That
Herbert, you're being very generous here.
I wanted a string of guesses in the chat, and nobody is giving me this guess.
When he says, "I know,"
watch TV.
Yeah. Well, as kind as that is of you to think of that, think of me. No, it is not Brad Pitt, Herbert. I appreciate you though.
You've all disappointed me.
Are you? I'm gonna go Sheldon Cooper.
So you think that you look like Sheldon?
I don't look like Sheldon, but I kind of act like Sheldon. So.
I'm talking about appearance. I'm not talking about.
Oh, just appearance. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I've seen the show. Maybe I have.
Newman. Nobody.
No, Newman. Starts with an N.
I thought this was going to be obvious and everyone was going to. All right. Well,
Trying to find a picture.
it's a TV show, Alistair. It's a TV show.
King says Miles
Miles
Standish.
Isn't that someone from U.S. history?
Some of these might be, yeah. Jack says, sheesh, can you give us some time?
Okay, fine. All right. Give you some time and hints. Okay. I told you it's a show, it's a TV show. There were 3 seasons and it's from the last 5 years. How's that?
There were 3 seasons.
You're not going to give a better hint. You never give good hints. That's the
Wendy's
problem.
complaining that I don't give good hints. Okay.
It's about.
No, did you shush over there?
Is it a serious show or a comedy show?
Comedy.
I figured it would be comedy, yeah. Okay. Doesn't narrow it down that much though.
All these people. How can you tell when somebody doesn't watch TV, Davey?
I know, right?
Don't worry, they'll tell you.
They'll tell you. Oh gosh.
Radar is not
No,
from the
it's
last
not.
5 years, Tina Punch, but it's kind of funny.
Radar would barely be the last 5 decades at this point. Brenda says I suck. No, don't worry about it. Don't worry. You're good. You're good, Brenda. It's all good. Okay, not the person I was thinking of, but the granddad from Up.
We had so many, and the Jukesters. Our show was so TV centric. I figured people would.
That's funny.
People would. Yes.
Wait, what does Scott say? Scott had a guess here. Let me see if I caught it. I might not have caught it. Let me see. But
I'm looking at you right now, and I'm not seeing it as much. But when I was watching the show, I was like, that dude looks just like Davey.
yeah, Raj from Big Bang. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not a bad call. I don't quite feel maybe the hair, but the rest of him, I'm not so sure. I guess
I just want one person to
Yeah.
guess it. Just one person. Come on.
Oh, thank you, Brenda. You're kind. Very kind. Barbara says Jim Parsons, a.k.a. Sheldon. Yeah, that was my guess, too. But it's someone who I look like. Mark.
All right, you want another hint? All right, here's another hint. The show was on Apple TV.
Oh, I'm not going to guess this then. I have not watched an Apple TV show yet. So would it be...
Here's another hint.
Okay.
Another star of the show was also a minor character on
Check Tina's
Game
answer.
of Thrones.
Tina's answer.
What's that?
They got it.
Tina got it. I think it's Nate. Yeah,
Tina
Nate the
French.
Great. Oh, I'm going to have to watch Ted Lasso now to figure out what...
Oh, look at that.
Got it,
See
Tina?
that?
Great job, Tina.
Tina French.
Nate from Ted Lasso. There you go. Give yourself a hand, Tina. Holy cow.
All right.
That's
I'm
awesome.
glad somebody got it. All right.
Yeah, I am too. Yeah. Tina did say, "Oh well, he gave us Apple TV," which is good. That's a good hint because like we would have been here for hours.
Apple TV gave it away. All right.
We'd have been here for a while if we did not have that hint. So, fantastic,
All right.
Tina. Yeah. What's Apple
All right.
TV? I don't know. It's Apple TV is just a little bit harder than Orange TV, but not quite as juicy as Pear TV. So that's Apple TV. Barbecue sauce. Alistair says, cut an apple open and put a TV in it. Yeah, there you go. That's it. That's Apple TV. But legitimately, it is confusing sometimes because Apple TV makes a device that's called an Apple TV. So when you talk about Apple TV, they don't know if you're talking about the Apple TV unit or the Apple TV service. They're completely different things with the same name. So, yeah. Good God, if you don't know. Yeah. But yeah,
Oh, you'll see my shirt yet? I'm going to show my shirt again.
that shirt's nice.
I paid like $30 for this stupid fucking shirt, and I just want to make sure that people see it.
It's
I
beautiful.
love it.
It's a beautiful shirt.
It's a good shirt.
Yeah.
It's actually even more colorfuler in person. All right, so what happens next with questions?
So T-Bone, I appreciate that. I mean,
Herbert.
T-Bone says Davey, you would love Nate and Ted Lasso. It sounds like a great show. Like it sounds like my kind of show too. I would get into it for sure. Wonderfully delivered, straight bold, Davey. Thank you. Now I can't unsee Nate. You did work. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, Kenny. Yeah. Okay.
So Nate was not Mexican. Nate was some sort of Turkish.
Okay. I mean, I guess with I guess I can sometimes I do bear a resemblance to like Middle Eastern people too. So it totally works. Yeah. All right. So questions, folks. Everybody in our community, in our combined communities of Scott Firestone Rock Drums, and Kenny's Prog Rock community, and the Jukesters, use exclamation point question followed by your question, and that is how you can ask a question of our friend Kenny tonight. So get them in.
Let's just make a mental note that Brookstone Barge did not rate us.
That's cool.
All I'm going to say. That's all. That's all I'm going to. That's not cool, but I'm just going to say that. Just gonna say
to be fair, Pete has rated over quite a lot recently, so I'm all right with it. It's great to see them back though. I'm glad. But your point is well taken. All
right.
If anything, I gotta go right over to Pete sometime pretty soon because like I feel like I'd like to. But Brendan.
All right.
Let's get those questions in. Exclamation point question.
Are there any questions? Is anybody? I
don't think anything's come in yet.
Already answered all the questions.
The queue is open.
Do we have like a trivia? Is there a trivia show we can do with people ask questions?
I do have trivia questions, but we'll get to those.
Let's just talk about the streamers. Talk
yeah.
Shit about them.
Yeah. People are giving hugs. That's nice. Very nice of you to hug. Hugs are good. Very kind. Very friendly. There we go. Debbie's got a question. Let's go throw it into the queue. Debbie says, if you could be any woman besides me, who would you be?
If I could be any woman besides Debbie Skolnick? Wow. What would I be? Wow. I've only ever thought of being Debbie Skolnick, so this is a difficult question. I would have to say I would want to, the only other woman that I'd want to be is Jack Dostal. That's all I can think of.
Phenomenal. So good. Oh man. Brenda says I feel like it would be me. Yeah.
Or Brenda Fabulous.
She's fabulous.
Brenda is fabulous. That's true. Debbie, great question. I love it. Brenda says, well, F that. What is that?
Have you ever seen Jack Dostal, Brenda? You haven't. No, you haven't. So.
Oh boy. Big time shout out to the Rusty Panda though. Welcome in. Since in the last year or so, we've had more people in our talk show field, and Panda does a great job doing interviews. So if you ever want to have an interview with some, want to be on other interview shows, Panda is really fun. Really fun. Does a
Rusty Panda is an interviewer? I don't know Rusty Panda.
Yeah.
Now, StreamScribe used to have somebody called Fat Panda.
Yes, they're friends.
Is that a-
Fat Panda
that's
and
a
Rusty
different
Panda are
person?
pals. In fact, one time Fat Panda was on Rusty Panda's show. It was a great time. I loved that. That was
Wow.
one of my favorite episodes of that show.
That's
Pretty
crazy.
cool. Let's keep the questions rolling. So Panda has a question. The question is, if you were any insect in the world, what would you be?
Insect?
Yep.
Did I ever tell you the scorpion story?
I think I've heard it, but let's hear it
Scorpions-
again. Let's hear it again.
Scorpions are pretty cool looking, although I don't necessarily need to find one. So people who live in Mexico or the desert generally have a story of finding a scorpion in their shoe, which is not necessarily where you want to find a scorpion. Um, we were in Merida and we had a ceiling fan above our bed, and when I would look up at the ceiling fan, where the ceiling and the where the ceiling and the fan met each other, I saw like a what I thought was a little piece of a black wire sticking out. And then, wow, that's very sloppy electrician-ness shipness. But I never thought much of it. And then one night we came home. We had been staying in this bedroom for about 2 weeks. And I came into the bedroom and I turned on the light, and I'm walking to the bathroom and I see something out of the corner of my eye up on the ceiling fan. And it catches my eye, and I look over, and there's a fucking scorpion sitting on the top of the ceiling. It's probably about this big.
Wow. Huge.
A black scorpion, and he's like rocking back and forth, and he's got his hands. It's like, what the, meanwhile, Wendy is in like a different part of the house, and she's brushing her teeth. Like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I tell her? What should I do? I don't know what the fuck to do. I've never seen a scorpion before. It's not in my shoe. It's in the fan. What do I do? Do I tell her? Do I not tell her? Do I wait for it to go away? What am I gonna do? So I called her up and I was just like, Wendy,
You have a problem.
we have a problem. And she's like, what's the problem? I was like, I at this point I still don't know if I want to tell her. And so finally it's like, wait, there is a scorpion on the ceiling fan. So she's like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? I'm not sleeping in this bedroom tonight. It's right above the fan. What if it falls down onto one of the blades of the fan, and it just like it's flung onto our bed, and then it bites my nose. Like, what are we gonna do? Fortunately, this particular Airbnb had a second bedroom. It had a bed that was this big, and we both stuffed our fully grown adult asses into this bed and slept for the night until the host came the next day and got it out of our. Hold on, you want me to? I'll send a picture.
We'll
of
go
the
into the queue.
scorpion.
Okay.
Yeah, hold on.
Or is it gonna go to the DMs? But
I'll send it up into the. I'll send it up
okay.
into the.
Okay.
Into the Dropbox so people can see.
Still gotta play that video you sent to me too, so we'll put that up in a second. Kenny, that's where the rest of the Scorpion family lived. And I did like.
Well, it's uploading now.
Yeah.
The two I uploaded 2 scorpion pictures. It was terrifying.
Yeah.
It really was. So anyway, getting back to the question, if I could be any insect, I suppose it would be a scorpion because they're cool looking. It's like a spider and a lobster had a kid from hell. That's what it's like. And when the host came the next day, he was just like, yeah, in Merida, we have 2 things. We have scorpions, we have tarantulas. So we have yet, knock on wood again, we have yet to come across a living tarantula. We did come across a dead tarantula in Cancun, but we have not come across a living tarantula. But I would say of all the insects, I would say scorpions are the coolest.
That's sweet. And they do look really cool. Sniper also says rock you like a hurricane. Boom. Love that.
Yeah. No, the fan was already on. The fan never stopped being
Wow.
on. It was above the fan. When you see the pictures, you'll see that
Yeah.
it was above the fan, and once it saw me and it wanted to get, I was like, oh my God, like he didn't want to see me any more than I wanted to see him. Like
Oh.
I wonder if scorpions like fear finding humans in their shoes.
It's
Um,
possible. I mean, yeah,
so
definitely
it like
possible.
it kind of went around and it went, I told you it was in between the ceiling and the
Mhm.
fan, and it actually retreated to in between the two.
Oh wow.
So when the Airbnb host came the next day to take care of it, he pulled down the fan. There was no scorpion in there, but there was a hole in the ceiling where the wires and the pole for the fan came down. So he just smacked them up the ceiling. So the scorpion is probably still sitting in the ceiling. Like,
Oof.
what happened?
Wild.
It's like,
Thank you for the question, Panda. That's a really fun one. Next, let's go over to this video. Let's go take a look at this, Kenny. This is a video of a balcony. It looks really beautiful. I can see the ocean kind of
oh,
from,
that looks just like our Airbnb view.
yeah. Maybe it's good. Maybe it is.
Oh, do you have audio?
I do.
This is our home for the month of December and part of January.
Beautiful.
Beautiful
Look at that hot
tub
tub.
up here on the roof overlooking Banderas Bay. And it's a beautiful day here. High 70s, low 80s all week. Oh, there's my yacht driving by. Looking forward to catching up with you guys. We'll see you in a little bit.
Boy, Kenny, that is.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's beautiful. So
Oh,
there's,
what happened over here?
what are you doing?
All right, I better fix this too. That is, it's like those. You ever see the magicians that they end up doing? You know how like they
Yeah, it's like
with saw.
like the box.
Yeah,
It's like the box. You sawed me in half.
That was pretty impressive. I don't know. I have to figure out how to. I would like to reproduce that effect sometime. Yeah, this is where Davey cuts Kenny in half, honestly, and then we put him back together again. Like,
I'm gonna need another drink.
let's go, Jack, with the next question. And by the way, so that's where you're at right now. Like, you have that view.
Yeah, I took that video today, right before we came on.
Wow.
Actually, I sent you a couple of the sunset pictures also. So the way Puerto Vallarta is, if you look to the west, you get the sunset,
Mhm.
and behind you were some pretty high mountains where they're building up into the mountains. Like you can see
I see.
buildings like sitting on the mountainside.
Yeah.
So there's no real sunrise here because the mountains are behind you, but there's beautiful sunsets every night.
Amazing.
And they have
Amazing.
sunsets. Davey, they have sunsets every night. Every night. The sun sets every night.
That's pretty amazing. I see you're getting acclimated to the West Coast as well.
So here's the thing. It's like, so Wendy and I are both born and bred on Long Island, New York, which is
Yep.
Exactly 0 meters above sea level.
Mhm.
And on the landscape is nothing.
Right.
It's flat as a board. And then our first 3 months that we spent in Mexico were on the Yucatan Peninsula,
Mhm.
which as well, flat as a board. So we flew from Merida to Guadalajara, which is 5,000 feet in the air. It's a mile-high city. And there's mountains all around us. And if you're from out west in Colorado or California or anywhere in between, you're used to looking out at mountains, and there's always mountains on the horizon. But for us, or at least for me, I'm not speaking for Wendy, for me, it's really special to look out and see mountains. It's
Yep.
like it's a cool freaking thing. And so in Guadalajara, and from Guadalajara, we also went to Tequila, and we went to Ajijic and Chapala, and those are all high elevation cities.
Mhm.
So Guadalajara, because it's on the water, is not very high up unless you deliberately go into the mountains. It's not that high. But
Guadalajara's not on the water.
Guadalajara is not. I'm talking about Puerto Vallarta.
You say Guadalajara.
I've been drinking. Could you please? Um, so yeah, for the next until the end of pretty much the end of April, we're gonna have mountains on the horizon,
Oh, that's
and
amazing.
and to
Yeah.
me, it's super special. Our next, we didn't. I don't know if you were gonna ask, but I'll tell you anyway. So, from here, we go to a couple of cities that are more in the middle of the country. One is called Querétaro with a Q, and one is called San Miguel de Allende.
Mhm.
San Miguel is a very popular town for retiring Canadians and Americans. It's a very gentrified city, as is Puerto Vallarta. But both of those towns are 6,000 feet up. It's going to take a little bit of adjusting to the high altitude after spending my whole life at sea level, pretty much. And then from there we go to Mexico City, which is also high altitude.
Yep.
From there we go to uh, La Paz, which is on the Baja California Sur Peninsula, and there's
Stop.
mountains around you there. Oh yeah, we're going to Zihuatanejo also, and stop in Zihuatanejo right after Querétaro, but
Mhm.
that's sea level because it's on the beach. Zihuatanejo, as made famous by The Shawshank Redemption, the greatest movie of all time, and I will fight you on that. Uh,
Good choice.
um, um, so yeah, so we're going to be in La Paz and San Jose del Cabo. So we're going to have mountains on the horizon for the next few months, and it's super special to me, and I really enjoy having the mountains.
I really appreciate you bringing that up because like it's something that we can take for granted if you grew up in it, you know. Like it's a very special thing to have great views like that. Mountainous views, mountains in general. Um Steggy Music and Jordy 12. Great to see you. Steggy, can we give a shout out to Steggy Music? Steggy is like one of
Steggy.
I think the last couple months I remember you being on stream on either of your channels. Like I think that's like the last streamer I can remember you turning me on to was Steggy, I believe, and it was a great call. Like Steggy's awesome, like, and really great to see you again. That's one of my favorite things about getting to know you, Kenny, and your community is that you've introduced us to even more other really cool musicians and cool people in general on Twitch.
Yeah, man. I don't know Steggy music, and I apologize for that.
Oh, never mind.
Steggy
Maybe
started coming
it
around
might have been. Well,
after I
you will
left.
get to know Steggy. Like Steggy's a really big fan of.
Is that like Stegosaurus? Is that where that comes from? Like the dinosaur that has the plates sticking up out of its back?
I think you could say that. Steggy's a big fan of Genesis, by the way. Yes, and Led Zeppelin. Yeah, covers all of
Anyone who
them.
loves Genesis and Zeppelin is okay by me.
Yep. Steggy says my last name is
Shawshank
Steggy.
wouldn't make your top five, Herbert. Herbert,
Wow.
I'm gonna have to reevaluate our friendship, Herbert. I'm sorry, but if it's not even in your top five,
Ooh.
I will accept that if The Godfather and Lord of the Rings Part Three are in your top spot, but if it's not in the top five, come on, Herbert. Top five?
Yeah.
Name five movies better than Shawshank, Herbert. Come on, I dare you. I dare you.
Oh, Steggy says my last name is Stegomolar, so it got shortened to Steggy, but I do like a Stegosaurus.
Oh, all right.
Cool.
See, I would embrace the Stegosaurus thing and make all of your branding look like a Stegosaurus.
Oh yeah.
Because it's a very identifiable. It's one of the most identifiable of all the dinosaurs.
True.
Although none of the Stegosauruses have never really been featured in the movies. You got the T-Rex, you got the Velociraptor, even the Brontosaurus, but the Stegosaurus doesn't get any love from the filmmakers. What the fuck?
We can change that though. Change the world, Kenny.
Let's change that.
Steggy the movie. I like it.
And the Hayeks are in. Hayeks are in.
Oh, Stuart, so good to see you. Welcome in. How's Joe? What's up, Joe? Good to see you again. Hey, Kitty. Hello, fantastic kitties here. Justice for Stegosaurus. For sure. Oh, and the second one, The Lost World. Steggy, good. Oh, that's right. That's good to know. All right. So, to Jack Dostal's question, anybody else that wants to ask a question, feel free to use exclamation point question.
Back to the quiz. Back to the question.
Here we go.
Hold on. Getting back to Shawshank. There is a quote from that movie was very, and we were talking about things that were influential before, and there is a quote in Shawshank that is very influential to me and has been, and that's something that Morgan Freeman has read. It says you got to get busy living or get busy dying. and that played a huge role in our decision to get out of New York and get out of the States and just going to see the world.
What a
Anyway,
line.
what's the next question?
The next question is from Jack Dossel, who asks, do you ever run into food poisoning while traveling? I did in Australia.
We have been pretty lucky. So, what again, but the third time in this stream, we've been pretty lucky. I don't think it was food poisoning. I think it was a virus on Christmas Eve. I woke up overnight and just exploded in every possible way. And I spent the day in bed on Christmas. But I don't think that was food poisoning. I think that was a virus because Wendy ate all the same food that I did and she was fine. So, nothing like going to Chipotle, that's for sure.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you were there for that. It was on my stream.
Oh.
We were talking about the restaurant Chipotle. If you're a little, this is what was the slogan that I came up with? If you're ever a little backed up or constipated, go to Chipotle. It'll take care of the problem within 24 hours.
Yep.
But yeah, there's no Chipotles here in Mexico.
We don't need Chipotle in Mexico. You got the real thing. It's even better.
Yeah, exactly. It's 10 times better.
Are you surprised? I know that I don't know if you were thinking about this, but one thing I know very well about Mexico is that there are very few burritos. Burritos are more of an American thing. And I wondered if you noticed that.
Yeah, so we file burritos under hard shell tacos. It's more Tex-Mex Southwestern than Mexico. Well, we have had burritos. When we were in our first Airbnb in Puerto Vallarta, there were a couple of nights, there was a place across the street that had shrimp burritos, and we would split one and then just make the rest of the dinner at home after the stream. So there definitely are burritos. But when you get a burrito in Mexico, they don't stuff the damn thing with rice. If you go to Chipotle, diarrhea central. If you go to Chipotle, they like half of it is rice.
Yeah.
Where here it's not quite as packed to the gills, but there's no rice in it.
Right. I'm not a big rice guy anyway, so it's like I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Yeah.
Say no to carbs, kids.
Jack, thank you for your question. Great question. We got so many great questions here. Let's go next to Alistair UK. Coming to you from one.
Wait, hold on. Sorry, Alistair. In this trip, in the last 5.5, 6 months that we've been here, there have not been issues. However, we went on a trip to Huatulco, Mexico in late 2018, and I did get food poisoning or some sort of parasite that I took back to New York with me that lasted for a couple of weeks.
So, oh, man.
So in that respect, yes.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, okay, back to Alice.
Well, hopefully that's not a frequent thing, right? So far, it's at least not happening too frequently, so that's good. So Alistair's question. Since you're nomad now, do you think you could go 365 days with no electric, phones, net, etc.?
Oh, fuck no. I was impressed with myself because I forget if it was today or yesterday, but I took my phone and I left it in the bedroom for a couple of hours. And like every 5 minutes, I'm like, oh, I want to look that up. It's like I'm very, very attached to my phone, and I can't even imagine not having it. The thing about this lifestyle and why it's even possible for us to do is that we're not blazing any new trails. There's no, like, anywhere we want to go, there's 10 videos that will tell you all about the things to do, and there's 10 Facebook groups to tell you about the things not to do. So it really, like, I call it quicksand. And the advent of the existence of social media has kept us, I'm sure, from a whole lot of quicksand. We know where not to go and what not to do.
Yeah, that's a good thing. You're right. That would
so to not have electric or internet, that would not be a good thing.
Nah, I hear that. Alistair adds, that's the only answer I needed. As nomads that I've heard about are people that go off and live off the land, etc. But you have the luxury and no mad trail, so understandable.
So we met one of the people that we met on this trip actually just the other night. He is very well traveled. I don't know if he's watching, but I'm sure he'll be thrilled that I'm mentioning that. He said that he was in the north of Australia and he took a flight to New Guinea, which is an island to the north of Australia. And he said he got off the plane and it's like he said they don't have any plastic or cans or anything there. It's just like they grow and they hunt what they eat and it's all fresh. Like he said there's no he said it's just completely disconnected from the rest of the world. It's just like it's its own place and they're not bringing stuff in and there and that's kind of what Alistair's question reminds me of. It was just like really roughing it and and you know bringing it down to that most primal level. And I don't know that we would be prepared to handle that kind of lifestyle. You know, we stay in fairly nice Airbnbs with hot tubs and pools and kitchens and stuff like that.
Yeah. You're right though. That's a commitment to be able to live off the land completely. Like it sounds
Oh.
great in fantasy, but to actually do it, that's really hard. Like I give him a lot of credit for trying that.
That type of lifestyle, living that way for even a week or a month, I think that would change who we are as people. I think, you know,
Yeah.
I never watched Survivor, but I assume that that's kind of what it would be like.
Yeah, it's a decent. I mean, a curated example of it, right? You know, it's not a bad example. Like, just saw like the Survivor finale recently, so like, it was kind of interesting to see that. But
Respect to anyone who can do it.
Yeah.
I don't know that we could really.
yeah, and people in
make it
Survivor
work.
only did it for roughly 30 days too. So like, imagine doing that for a year. That's impressive. Like, that's tough. Okay, so thank you, Alistair, for your question. Next to Herbert Woodbury. What's the weirdest recurring dream that you have?
I have a lot of dreams, including last night. I have a lot of dreams about Quasi.
Really?
Yeah, Quasi, for those who don't know, was the 27-year-old parrot that we had for about 7 years before we left. He's now living his best life at a friend's house. But yeah, I connect with Quasi in my dreams, and I can pet him. You know, sometimes we're out in the wild, and I'm trying to stop him from flying away. Last night, the dream was we were a little more in a controlled, like an indoor environment, but I was still not wanting him to get away from me. And I have a lot of dreams about my son. My son decided to stop being in touch with me last summer in 2022. And I have a lot of dreams about him as a not as an adult, he's 27, but more as a child.
Wow. I mean,
That's it.
it just kind of, yeah, and I think we all miss Quasi as well. And, you know, I'm glad Quasi's doing all right, though. That's good to know. Definitely good to know. Yeah, it makes sense, though. It makes sense. Herbert, thank you for your question. Next, we have Fancy Nancy in 2023. What is Kenny and Wendita's New Year's resolution for 2024?
I have two New Year's resolutions, and I'll let Wendy answer for herself. My two New Year's resolutions, my first resolution is I am going to start smoking, and this time I mean it.
Wait, smoking what,
and
though? I'm curious.
anything. And then the other resolution is that by the end of 23, I am going to fit into a size 4 dress. What about you, Wendy?
I don't really have one.
Wendy didn't make any resolutions.
I was too busy dealing with. I'm just gonna have.
Oh, here's my resolution. My resolution is that I am going to be more of a part of Davey's Eating and Sandwiches community.
Oh, thank you. I mean, you already are such a great
I-
part of it, though.
So I have I didn't want to get all the Twitch notifications for every streamer that I ever follow going live.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of streamers that I still follow, but I don't get their notifications. But I still get your notifications. And I always have the intentions of joining in. And sometimes I do lurk.
Mhm.
But I'm going to get onto your channel now.
Thank you, Kenny. I mean, yeah, that's extremely nice
And
of
I
you.
want you all to make that same resolution.
Ah, thank you, thank you. Well, we'd be glad to hang out with you. So if you ever want any of you, even when we're not having a guest on, like we'd love to just chat with you. So that's what we do a lot. So we definitely would love to have you all back. So thank you for that resolution, though. But
What is your New Year's resolution, Davey?
oh yeah, I have my I have the dumbest New Year's resolution. Well, I have a couple. One, I need to lose some weight. Like I think I'd like to get back to exercising. The reason I couldn't for a long time was because I think I tore a calf muscle or an ankle muscle at some point in the summer. So I was just recovering from that. Now I'm going to try to get back into it. So that's my resolution, like exercise more, get back in shape. That's the basic. I mean, it's a very cliche one, but it's a big one for me. I want to make sure we get going there. But the other one,
I'm gonna share something with you
yeah, let's hear it.
that not a lot of people know, even in my community. I don't know that many people know this, but um, back in 2018, I trained as a health coach
Wow.
at a place called Integrative Institute for Nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
Institute for Integrative Nutrition. That's easy for me to say after two drinks. Um, and one tip that I have for you and anybody else who has made a resolution, whether it's to lose weight or anything else, um, the tip that I have is everybody's got a phone in their pocket and everybody's phone has a calendar in it. And you can make a calendar entry that will recur every week or every month or every couple of weeks, whatever it is. So if you have a resolution, let's say to get back in shape, put a calendar entry into your phone for every 2 weeks or every 4 weeks. And with that resolution, your resolution for New Year's was to lose some weight. How are you doing?
Yeah.
And that way it's on your phone and it's checking in with you and making sure, and once you get to April, it's like all hell breaks loose. You don't remember what your resolution was. You're going to do a show in April and nobody's going to be asking you what your New Year's resolution was. Everybody forgets after 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So if you put it in your phone and it keeps reminding you, it's going to keep you on track to do that resolution.
That's great advice, Kenny. Thank you for offering that. And also really cool about this backstory. I didn't even know about that. That's very.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
You're welcome. That was awesome. Let's see. Yeah, Jack says, Wendy, please resolve to keep Kenny out of a size 4 dress. Listen, I'm not gonna judge. Like,
Listen.
yeah.
If I don't know.
I love that one of your resolutions was to start smoking. That was just quite hysterical to me, but I love that. Like, but thank you.
Start smoking cigars.
You're in a good spot for it. That'd be great. Do it in the balcony if they let you, if you're allowed.
I can't stand. Here's another real talk about Kenny. I fucking hate cigars so much. I can't stand the smell of them. I can't stand being around them. I hate them, and I hate when people smoke them near me. To me, it's like, let me find the smelliest thing I can find, light it on fire, and shove it in my mouth. Or shove it in my mouth and light it on fire. I hate cigars so much, and I'm sure that's going to be controversial in the chat. And I'm sorry for people. I know Roth is going to be like, "What? You don't like cigars? I'm not going to listen to you anymore." But I can't do
Yeah.
it. At least Sniper. At least pipes have like a sweet. I wouldn't smoke a pipe, but at least pipes have like a sweet smell to them.
Mm-hmm.
But cigars just like it's just foul to me.
There's
an OXXO, for those who don't know, the OXXO is the 7-Eleven of Mexico, OXXO. And there's one on literally every corner in Puerto Vallarta, but there's the one on our corner. It's not the OXXO, it's something outside the OXXO. I have to hold my breath.
Wow.
I can't, it's like, and it's not like a poop smell. It's not like a garbage smell. I don't know what the smell is. It is, I don't know what it is, but it's one of the worst things I've ever smelled in my whole life. And I walk past it, and I just hold my breath. And, you can walk past it in 30 seconds. I can hold my breath for 30 seconds. It's all good. Or I just breathe through my mouth or whatever. But it is oh my God. It's like, it leaves me longing for cigars. It's like, can someone please smoke a cigar out here to make it smell a little better? Oh my God.
I guess there's unsavory smells, sights, and sounds at a convenience store. To if you really get down to it,
It's not the store. The store is fine.
you think it's the outside
I've
of
been
the
in
store.
100 Oxos. I've been in 100 Oxos in the last 5.5 months. It's not the store. It's something outside the store. I don't know what it is.
It's
Wendy,
wild.
we should walk down there right now and see if we can convey the
No.
smell through the
Kenny,
Zoom.
that's a good reason. I don't know if you're on TikTok, but that's a good reason to do a TikTok live. Just like go to the store and see what it smells like, and then report the results.
I used to talk about Staten Island, which is
Yeah.
one of the 5 boroughs of New York City. It's just south of Manhattan.
At least they
I
claim
used
it
to
is,
just-
but apparently, yeah.
There's like a landfill there, and if you
Mhm.
if you ever drive from Long Island to Atlantic City or anywhere south
Mhm.
in New Jersey, you have to go through Staten Island, and there's a landfill down there, and you have to turn on the recycled air in your car because that landfill, it's got a smell you can taste.
Oh
And
no.
I don't know if Fancy Nancy is still watching, but she will back me up on this. Because Fancy Nancy lived in Staten Island. And Scott Firestone lived in Staten Island too. Staten Island. Um,
Want another drink?
I'm getting to the point where I have to pee and get another drink.
Okay.
But it's 9:52, so we're gonna end soon. But yeah, I call it a smell you can taste.
Well, let's do one more question. Thank you, Fancy Nancy.
All
Thank
right, you know what?
question.
Let me go pee.
Okay.
And when do you want to come talk to people?
Okay. It's up to Wendy. We'll go
what
rapid
is
fire
good
for
for?
the remaining questions tonight, and
Okay, sounds good. I'll be right back.
okay. I
My
can
earbuds if you need.
I can tackle some of these questions too, actually. So
Oh,
we can give you some of these questions as well, Wendy. For example, can you get American ice cream in Mexico? Says Uncle Al.
oh, I don't eat ice cream because it's not good for me.
Oh, okay.
So they have this something called Michoacan.
Michoacan.
These ice.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know how to pronounce it. Michoacan. So they have these ice cream stores. So
Ah.
that seems to be the ice cream thing. But
Mhm.
maybe if you went into the OXXO, you could find some Haagen-Dazs or something.
Okay.
But
Great.
yeah, not that I've ever seen. Michoacan,
Yeah.
is that how you pronounce it? Okay.
Yeah, it's an interesting question because like I think most of my experience whenever I've visited with family down there, it's usually like the bars. They're like kind of like popsicles, but they're kind of like ice cream bars too. It's kind of a mix. Like they call them paletas.
What are they? Paletas?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can get them with like fruit ice cream, but they're not really like ice cream. They're kind of frozen. They
Right.
taste the texture is more like a popsicle, but it tastes like ice cream. It's very
Is that
interesting.
like they have something called like not Garafone, but like Garafa ice cream. Like
Mhm.
it's where it's, I think it's made with, it's like a sorbet
Yeah.
with fruit in it. Is that what you're talking about?
I think
What's it
so. They
called?
have that, but they also it's a little bit like sorbet. I mean, but they also have like chocolate ones. They have chocolate. They have vanilla. They have like mint. So
God, Wendy, I'm gonna be so shit faced at the end of this drink.
He's gonna be shit faced apparently.
They
Yeah.
can hear me.
I'll just brand it different.
I
Yeah.
said what I said.
This is a treat.
Easy on the pour. Okay.
Oh my
I
gosh.
got more.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
This is how much is left. You see it?
We got this just like, I don't know.
We got it for New
This
Year's
was all
Eve.
penny pretty much. New Year's
Wow.
Eve.
This is
Dude,
gonna
I
be
had
a
no
very
idea.
the post show after
about
the
Topo
after stream
Chico?
part of this of your night.
The Topo Chico is like this.
Yeah.
This carbonated.
So this is a really good carbonated.
Oh yes.
Topo Chico, you know.
Yep. It's popular up here too.
Topo Chico.
Yeah.
Wow.
But not in New York. It's not like a thing in New York.
I see.
And then orange juice.
But not that organic.
Umex.
Umex. Nice. Farrell says I buy that here.
Well,
Yeah.
tonight.
The Topo Chico.
You better
Nice.
start getting undressed now.
Yeah. All right. So just a quick question for you, Wendy. Like, Herbert has the question: do you have a recurring bad dream? If so,
I can't hear him. Right?
Yeah,
I do.
have dreams about work. I
Oh,
have dreams
really?
about work. Like
Really?
I'm at work and it's like one of those, Kenny always called them gig nightmares where I can't find the place, the doctor's office I'm supposed to be going to,
Hmm.
or I can't like the sono machine's not working. Like I have these gig nightmares, um, which is like a panic thing or something,
Wow.
probably caused by anxiety.
No, understandable. Well, I mean, it must be. And then when you wake up, you're like, oh, I'm glad I don't have to actually
Yeah,
do.
I'm glad
That.
I don't have to actually go to work anymore.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Well, look who's behind me.
Hey, Kenny, welcome
Drunky
back.
Skunky Kenny.
I'm not drunky skunky yet.
Woo!
At the bottom of this glass, there's a good chance I'll be drunky skunky. Cyber wants to know if there's
We'll have to
any
ask.
new tequila. So we actually, when we were in Guadalajara, we actually went to the town of tequila. There was a town tequila before there was a drink tequila. Um, and that's where they make all the tequila. Like all of the tequila comes from in or around Tequila. The state we're in right now, which is also the state where tequila is, called Jalisco. And it was a pretty, like, the town itself was just like, it was kind of fairy tale-y, but just driving to the town and around the town, it was just these agave plants as for miles, as far as you could see, going up the mountains and into the fields, and it was so much of it. And when you see the big agave plants, when you think of farming, like the way I know farming is you plant your stuff in the spring, and then by the summer or by the end of the summer, you have the harvest, right? But we went to a tequila producer called Tres, what is it? Tres Mujeres? Tres Mujeres. And they make tequila, and we took a tour and they showed us how they make it. And I said, how old are these tequila plants? And he showed me various sizes. So these big tequila plants that you see, the biggest ones you see, they've been growing for 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah, this is not a 1 year or a one season grow. These things are growing for years.
Wow.
So they have to have a whole lot of them. So the way tequila grows, if you've never taken a tequila tour, is you have the plant that looks like, if you've ever seen aloe, it's just kind of sticks
Oh
that
no.
stick out
Nice.
in a fan. Um, and then under the ground is a big thing that looks like a pineapple. It's a big, and they actually call it the piña. Piña is the Spanish word for pineapple. So if you've ever seen a relatively inexpensive tequila called El Jimador, a Jimador is the person who works in the field and digs and takes down the leaves and digs up the piña out of the ground. They take the piña out of the ground, they bake it for a little while. I don't know if it's high heat or low heat, but they bake it for a little while and they put it on this conveyor belt, and the conveyor belt kind of squeezes all the agave out of it, and then they put the agave in casks like they would with grapes and wine. It's the same kind of an aging process. They ferment it first, yeah, like they do with grapes. But it's a really interesting place to visit. I was very fascinated by it, not and knowing that all tequila comes from blue agave, but not knowing what blue agave looks like or how it grows or how long it takes to
Oh
grow.
yeah. That's a very visually stimulating tour, I can imagine. So pretty cool. Pretty cool to get
Yeah,
your thoughts on it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'll send. Let me send you a picture of Wendy in the agave fields.
Okay.
Hold on.
While you do that, I got a question from Jordy12, who
Okay,
asks,
I
"Oh, do you have it? Is it in there?"
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Question is, who do you admire most and why?
Who do I admire most and why? Wow, that's a very general question. Are we talking about
I,
music? Or are we
I,
talking about like
it's a, it's, that's the beauty of this question. It could mean whatever you want it to mean.
who do I admire most and why? I admire anyone who is living on their own terms, and
Besides Debbie.
answer to anybody, doesn't answer to anybody, and doesn't give a shit what anybody else thinks about what they're doing. That's who
Mhm.
I admire. If you're looking for, specific names of people on the spot, shit, I don't know. I admire Kimmy. He gets
Absolutely.
up and goes to work every damn day. Um, who else? I admire Bill Larkin. Bill Larkin, who can just make songs up on the spot. I admire people who can. Oh, you know who I admire? I admire people who can put a pen or a brush on a paper or even on a computer, and make something that I can recognize. People who can create in that particular modality, like Carlo does.
Hey, look who just signed in.
His,
Right as you said that.
oh my God, look at that.
Bill's here. What's up, Bill? Good to
Bill,
see you.
forget that I just said that. Bill's head is gonna be like, shh. I have to butter his ears to get him into his door. After
It's great to see you, Bill Larkin Music. What's up, my good friend?
Bill, I'm looking forward to having you back tomorrow.
Welcome back to Chicago, I see.
Yeah, I guess creative people and especially artistically, people who can draw and paint. My grandmother on my mother's side was an artist. She did a lot of watercolor and oil paintings. She was prolific. She had so many. She left behind so many things, and I all of my creativity and artistic ability went into just being able to play. Um, I cannot even draw a stick figure that's recognizable. So I
Yeah.
very much admire people who can draw.
I feel that, yeah. I would be no better. I do want to, shout out Bill Larkin Music. Give our friend a follow if you're not familiar with
Bill,
his
we
work.
miss you, buddy. It's been so long. Bill was not feeling well before he left for a Caribbean cruise that he just was working on.
Mhm.
So he had to cancel a couple of streams before he went out on the high seas. So we haven't seen Bill since, God, it's got to be not too long after Thanksgiving. And
Wow.
I was not being a terribly good Bill Larkin community member because I had not been able to lock into his stream. So I really I'm very, very much missing my fix of Bill Larkin.
Yeah, and yeah, if you got a show, I think there's some questions in the chat about your next show. Let us know. We'd love to hang out with you tomorrow as well if we can.
Bill is back tomorrow, probably 8 p.m. Eastern time, maybe
Cool.
9 p.m. Eastern.
Love it. And as Kenny said, great stuff at Bill's channel. Really funny. Definitely check it out.
Here's the Bill Larkin.
Here's the Bill Larkin. Yes.
Cheers.
That's kind of an amazing moment. I don't think we've ever done a straight cheer like that. Usually at the Jukesters, it's usually a twist or something.
You want a silly toast? I'll give you a silly toast.
All right.
But I love Bill so much. He's a good dude.
For sure.
He's such a super talented, funny motherfucker.
Yeah, 1000%.
Even if he doesn't believe me when I say it. Well, Bill, by the way, introduced me to the Toily, another one of my favorite streamers, and I would love to introduce you to the Toily and the hand that occupies Toily, and to maybe have him on your show. We could have a good time.
I mean,
The Toily.
the Toily is a big deal. That'll be an amazing get. We'll see if you can.
He's got 3 million TikTok followers.
It's wild. That's wild. He's a big deal, folks.
But Bill and Toily in real life are good friends.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you're living in Mexico, you definitely want to know the Toily. So
Phenomenal.
I always tell people that people ask me, is there anything that you don't like about living in Mexico, or what, if there anything you miss? And the one thing that I miss, by and large, and it's not completely true everywhere we go, but here in Mexico, the plumbing is old, and most of the plumbing cannot handle toilet paper. So
Really?
if you're in Mexico or Costa Rica or anywhere that's not the U.S., you finish your business and you wipe your front of your back, and you put the paper in a little wastebasket next to the toilet. You do not flush it because you will screw up the plumbing.
Oh wow.
So that's the one thing I don't love about Mexico. It's you figure out how to make it work without getting overly graphic. There's a lot of folding that happens And it's probably, it's different for women because women use more paper than men.
Oh boy.
Women are using paper every time, where men are using paper once or twice a day. But yeah, that's one of the difficult things. And the other difficult thing that I found about Mexico is in a lot of places, unless it's a more upscale restaurant, there is rarely a toilet seat. God forbid, you need to sit. You're sitting either you're squatting or you're sitting on the porcelain. There's very rarely a toilet seat in Mexico, and
I never knew
I
that.
went to a
Wow.
Mexican Facebook group and I said, "What's up with no toilet seats?" And everybody laughed at me and they said, "You're lucky we even get a bowl. Have you ever been to France? I went to France. I had to poop in a hole in the floor." So
Are you
it's
serious?
yeah.
What?
So or maybe not France, maybe Turkey. I don't know.
That's a
In
hover, all
France,
right.
in France, they have bidets, so you don't need as much paper in France. But this conversation is really taking
Oh
a turn
my.
for the worse. I don't
Yeah.
know. But yeah, it's
Had to, he
yeah.
wanted
If you
to.
if you ask me if there's
That's funny. He wanted
anyway,
to.
what was the next question?
Okay, all right,
Let's
next
move.
question.
Let's
The
move.
chat
Let's
is
move on.
taking.
I had a friend in New York many years ago whose business was he had a porta potty company. He brought porta potties to festivals or job sites or whatever or carnivals and stuff. And their motto, and it said it on his business card and on all the sides of the porta potties. It says, "We're when it comes to number two, we're number
Oh,
one."
I love that line. Yes, I think I've heard that line
And
before.
there
Yeah,
was another one.
yeah.
This was a company that specialized in cleaning up dog poop. Like if you had the side of your house or a dog run or whatever where the dogs went, you don't want to pick it up. This company, and I swear to God, this is true. You can Google it if you want. The company was called, do you remember, Wendy? Scoopy Poo.
No, no, I don't know this.
That's right, Scoopy Poo.
What
Did
would
I
a
lose
scoop? What
Amy?
would a
Oh, no.
Scoopy snack be?
The Scoopy snack. Don't ask.
Darius Shade, this is an hour ago, but I'm sorry I didn't mention this. But Darius Shade, thank you so much for the follow. Like, it means a lot. Like, I have a 2,000 follower goal. I haven't really. I've just started bringing it up like right now, but because
Where are you? Where are you?
we are at currently like 1750 something. Like that's so we're
Alright.
about 250 away from that. So
Okay.
yeah, the reason for it though.
Scoopy Poo Sniper, yes.
Yeah, Scooby Poo, got him. But thank you for the question. Let's go to my question. I have a question here too. So, either of you, will you have chilaquiles with the upstairs neighbors at breakfast tomorrow?
Chilaquiles.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me explain chilaquiles for our American friends who may not know what they are. So chilaquiles is a popular desayuno. Desayuno is breakfast. It's a popular breakfast dish here in Mexico. It's basically what you would know as nachos, which are the chips are in Mexico in Spanish are called totopas, or totopas, sorry. Um, and they're bathed in like a red or a green sauce, depending how you order them. And they usually will have either eggs or chicken or both on top of them. And so the nachos will, and they have other, Mexican flavors and spices on them, but the nachos, because they're doused in the sauce, get a little soggy. They're not crunchy, but it's very delicious. So
Yes.
when we were in Merida, we went to a little town just I think it was just east of Merida called Motul, Motul. And sometimes wherever you are in Mexico, you'll see on the menu next to the chilaquiles, you'll see something called huevos motoleños, which was a dish that was invented in Motul. We actually went to the place where they first served huevos motoleños, and they're not unlike chilaquiles. The totopas don't get quite as soggy in huevos motoleños, but I will eat any of those any day before I would ever eat an IHOP pancake.
Oh, it's good stuff. Good stuff. So, thank you for responding to that question. Let's go to Sniper's question. Any good American restaurants there? And now that's an interesting question because, like, do you mean like a chain restaurant that's down there, or just American food restaurant? I think that's maybe closer to what Sniper is asking. That's a really good question.
So there are some American restaurants here. I remember when we were in Merida, we passed I think it was a Texas Roadhouse. Was that what it was, Wendy? Texas Roadhouse?
Oh, yeah.
And I remember seeing it, and my thing is like hamburgers or hamburguesa is on a lot of the menus here, and they're not good. A Mexican hamburgers suck.
Oh, that's so true. So true.
And my my whole thing is just like I didn't come to Mexico to eat hamburgers. I didn't come to Mexico to eat American food. I don't want American food. So while I've seen, I think I've seen Subway. Have we seen Subway? You saw Texas. Oh, so anyway, so I saw Texas Roadhouse and I made a comment about it. And I think we were with Patty at the time, the woman who I told the story about earlier. Excuse me. And she said something to the effect of the Mexicans absolutely love it. The Mexican people just can't get enough of that.
Wow. That's cool.
I don't know. I've seen some, I've seen Domino's, I've seen fast food, but like in the malls and stuff like that, you might see a Johnny Rockets, or you'll see there's a Starbucks up the block. And, but give me street food any day.
Yeah. I mean, you really like if any of you ever visit Mexico, any part of Mexico too, it doesn't really matter where. Like, Ken, you've been pretty much everywhere at this point.
No.
But you haven't been to the city yet, right? You haven't been to Mexico City?
Not yet. March 10th.
Ooh, it's gonna be a big time. But
before we go, I'll give you our itinerary for the next couple months.
Be careful over there, though. I know it's a big city, which also means there could be a lot of shenanigans down there too. But it's a lot to do. It's gonna be an amazing time, and definitely enjoy. It'll be fun. Yeah. I can't wait for your Instagram when you get down there. That's gonna be amazing visuals. Like, I'm ready. But thank you, Sniper, for your question. Let's move on. Sorry for rambling, but Uncle Al did have an interesting kind of a sidebar to that question, which is, can you get American ice cream in Mexico?
Yeah, it's called helado here.
Oh, okay.
And it's not difficult to find, and they have that. We were talking about Nieves de Garrafón earlier, and it's the same kind of stands that sell it here. It's not a delicacy or a rare thing to find here at all. So when I was in high school, there was a Mexican restaurant that they took us to a field trip to in Spanish class. And one of the things that they had us looking forward to, and I don't remember having it, I don't think I had it, but they had something called fried ice cream, where it was ice cream inside a fried dough shell. And I never got to have it. And then when we were in Merida, we went to a sushi place and they had fried ice cream on the menu. I finally got to have it after all these years. So fried ice cream is a little more difficult to find, but ice cream is, that's not, if you come down here, you won't miss it.
Cool. That's good information. I have never really thought about it, so that's a good question and nice. Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you, Uncle Al. I mean, that's good to know, right? So now we all know that we can savor some ice cream down there too. Let's go to Barbara Joy 8. Question is
Chai Raja Weiss. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill Larkin, you remember Chai Raja Weiss? Anyway, Barbara Joy, what would you like to know?
Let's take it, T-Bone. Barbara Joy, do you find a lot of people speaking English in Mexico?
It depends on where you go. We're in Puerto Vallarta right now. Everybody speaks English.
Mm-hmm.
Almost everybody. So Wendy and I spent a lot of money on a Spanish program, and we really need to speak more Spanish, and we need to hear more Spanish, and we really want to communicate in Spanish, because the ultimate goal, at least for me, I'm not speaking for Wendy here, but I think she might agree, is to be able to walk into any shit-ass town in Mexico and strike up a conversation with the local in a bar or wherever we are, and be able to hear their story and to hear about their town. We're not there yet. We're still kind of, I'm not going to use the word stuck, but we're still sticking to the more touristy and the more gentrified areas, where there is some English. In Merida, there was not as much English as other places we've been, but here in Puerto Vallarta, it is super, super gentrified.
Oh, wow.
And you can survive very easily without no English. Now, I went 2 days ago to a restaurant that's literally one block west of here towards the ocean. There was nobody speaking. They did not speak English, and I was able to let them know what I wanted. My problem is that I can speak the Spanish, and I can let somebody, I can let a person with ears know what I need or what I want or what I'm trying to convey. But heaven fucking help me if they start speaking back to me in Spanish, because I have no idea what they're saying. So
I see.
that's where my problem is right now. And they speak so fast, and some of them will speak slower if you ask them to. But I have such stage fright of even speaking Spanish, because it was at the point where I was just like, oh yeah, I'm cool. I can, oh yeah, hablo inglés. And it's just like, it's like, what? It's like, you're just like staring, like, what
Yeah,
did
yeah.
you just say? I don't know what you just said. So it's very it's difficult, and there's we're working on it, but Puerto Vallarta is super gentrified. The next place we're going in Querétaro is not going to be as gentrified.
Mhm.
What I'm understanding is San Miguel de Allende is very gentrified, but I can't imagine it being as gentrified as Puerto Vallarta.
Interesting.
So
Yeah, Jack says,
at
once you
the
start dreaming in Spanish, you'll be fine, Kenny.
Well, the plan, we're not booked yet, but the plan as of now is at the end of May we're going to go down and stay in, excuse me, in Oaxaca City. And Oaxaca City is definitely not terribly gentrified. So I think we're really gonna have to sink or swim in Oaxaca City.
Oaxaca City has cult cuisine that's almost a category unto itself.
It's the food capital of Mexico for sure.
Oh yes, it's very good. And so
You've been there?
Yeah, I've been there when I was young. When I was really young, like I was there, and I remember that chicken mole is phenomenal. Like there's like this special brown chicken mole sauce. It's kind of a chocolatey kind of a sauce.
You're gonna have, yeah, you have to explain Malay to people.
Yeah. So basically, just think of it like cooked chicken. I guess it would be. I'm not sure if it's braised or what, but it's chicken. But you put this think of it like a red sauce, but it's not red. Instead of red, like imagine that you added chocolate to the sauce. It's like a chocolatey.
Yeah, Malay is generally brown or dark brown.
Yeah.
Even black.
I guess the best thing I could come up with that could be close would be like curry. If you ever had chicken curry, but instead of a bright sauce, it's a dark sauce.
Yeah,
And
it's got a hint of cacao to it.
yeah,
Which is great.
yeah. Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. If you ever get a chance to try some, it's so good.
7 different types of Malay, Pharaoh. Oh my God.
Yeah, I believe that. They are the capital of mole. Like seriously, they are so good. Like I totally believe that. You're right about the food city capital too. Like it's gonna be a dream for when you're going to different restaurants over there. Just so good. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that leg of the journey.
Yeah. But thank you for your question, Barbara Joy 8. Appreciate that. We're down to one question.
Did I answer Barbara Joy's question?
Yeah, you did. Did you find a lot of people speaking English in Mexico, and basically kind of a mixed bag? It depends on where you go. So I think that's a pretty good answer.
Yeah, we've been to places where a lot of people speak English, but we're really trying to make we're really making an effort, and the Mexican people do appreciate the effort, and the joke that I always make is the Spanish speaking people will understand. I say it's a good icebreaker to say aprendo español No, I'm sorry. Aprendo una palabra por día, pero olvido dos. Which translates to I learned two Spanish words. I learned two Spanish words. I learn one Spanish word a day, but I forget two. And but that'll usually get the
Yes.
cab driver talking. The
Yeah.
cab drivers. It's good to get the cab drivers talking because a lot of times they're trying to learn English, but they're too shy to speak English. So it kind of it levels the playing field
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
little bit. Like 9 times out of 10, the cab driver will say, "Okay, well, you can practice your crappy Spanish, and I'll practice my crappy
Yeah.
English."
We break each other up. It's a beautiful thing, a symbiotic
Yeah.
relationship. I love it.
Mhm.
Um, let's see. One more question in the queue, and it's from Jack Dostal. The question: Did
Oh, boy.
Lenny come to Mexico with you?
No, Lenny lives in a cupboard in the UK apparently. I sent Lenny to go live with Top Hit 007, my mod for many years.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to don the Lenny costume, and he never did, and I'm pretty pissed off about it. And I'll just leave it at that. He let me down. He let me down.
Too bad. Too bad. But we appreciate the answer. And all in all, this is a really, really fun time. Great questions, everyone. Really, really great questions. Thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out with us tonight. Kenny, thank you for doing this again. Like, I appreciate you all reaching out.
So I thank you for having me on.
Absolutely.
And 2 hours and 22 minutes has flown by like the wind. But so I just wanted to fill you in on our itinerary because we're planned out. We're actually booked through almost the end of April, and we're tentatively planned um, through Thanksgiving of this year, actually. So we're going to be here in Puerto Vallarta in the area until January 27th, and then we fly down to Querétaro, and
Ooh.
we're going to stay a few nights in Querétaro, and then an hour from Querétaro, we're going to go to San Miguel de Allende for the entire month of February. On March 5th, we're going to go back to Querétaro, just to the airport. We're going to fly down to Ixtapa, there's two cities next to each other. One is called Ixtapa, which you may not have heard of, and the other is called Zihuatanejo, which you've heard of if you have ever seen The Shawshank Redemption. That's where Andy goes after he breaks out of Shawshank, and Red comes and meets him in Zihuatanejo. So we're going to be there for a couple weeks. Actually, no, 10 nights. On March 10th, we fly down. Sorry, Joe Lopes. On March 10th, we fly out to Mexico City. We're going to be staying in the Condesa area, which is a not sketchy area. It's very upscale and adjacent to Roma Norte, which is another nicer area of Mexico City. Where when you travel like this, you learn a lot of travel hacks and ways to get free things. And we're a part of the whatever the points program that Hyatt has.
Oh, that's
So
a good
we got an email like
Mhm.
a few days before New Year's that congratulations, you earned a free night at one of our properties from one of our Hyatt properties. So it's like, oh, but you have to use it within what, 90 days, 30 days, 90 days. So um Wendy, who's sitting back there, she doesn't like layovers. Well, you can't get everywhere in Mexico without a layover. So when you have all the time in the world, as we do, um, if there's a layover in Mexico City, rather than just sit there in the airport lounge for 3 hours waiting for the next flight, you get a hotel room and you stay for a week and you explore the city and then you fly out to the next place. So I was looking up Hyatt properties in Mexico City. We have quite a few Hyatt points built up. So we found a nice little it's not a boutique hotel. What do they call it? Concept hotel or something like that?
Concept, yeah.
So I found this concept hotel that we were able to use the free night. And then the other 6 nights we were able to book with our points. So we're going to stay in Mexico City for free for a week. from the 10th to the 17th
Oh, that's
in
nice.
Condessa,
Yes.
in the Andaz, I think it's called Andaz.
Andaz, yeah,
Hotel.
that's one of their it's
Andaz.
one of their brands. It's one of their brands.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So on the 17th, we fly out of Mexico City, and we go to La Paz, which is the capital of Bolivia, but that's not the La Paz we're going to. There is a La Paz on the California Baja Sur Peninsula in Mexico. It's about halfway down the peninsula.
Mhm.
So we're gonna stay in La Paz for a week and visit we're gonna take a couple day trips. It's a coastal town. And then we're gonna go for 2 nights after that and stay in Todos Santos, which is fabled to be the inspiration for Hotel California, the Eagle song.
Ah,
Uh,
it's cool.
I'm not 100% sure that that's true.
Right, right. It's been
Um,
debated.
but we're going to stay there for 2 nights, and then from there, we're going to go to San Jose del Cabo. We arrived there on March 27th. Um, I was talking earlier about making mistakes in quicksand and stuff like that, and what we found out was that Cabo San Lucas, which is the one that most people go to, it's super expensive. It's party town. It's like here, where we are here in Puerto Vallarta, but even worse. But they said San Jose del Cabo still has some of its local Mexican charm, so we decided to stay there instead. So we're in San Jose del Cabo from March 27th until April 13th. From April 13th to April 20th, we are meeting up with Kimmy.
Ah,
Um,
yeah.
and Nisi and another Jukester couple. And we're gonna stay there. That's a little closer to Cabo San Lucas, but not quite Cabo San Lucas. We're gonna stay there for a week with them.
Okay.
And then on April 20th, we fly back to Cancun. Those who don't know, I had some work done on my teeth.
They look great. Wait, let's go look at that
And
again. Yeah. Ah, gorgeous. Gorgeous.
so they did work back in August, and they needed 6 months to let me heal and let some of the bone grafts take hold and grow back, and the bone grow back. So I'm going to be going back to Cancun to have my dental work finished up. We're going to stay maybe in Puerto Morelos for a week or whatever. Puerto Morelos is one of our favorite places that we've stayed so far in Mexico. And then we're going to go back to New York for probably about 11 days for Mother's Day and my birthday in May. And then I think, and this is all tentative, this could change, we're going to fly down to Oaxaca City, and then down into other places in Oaxaca, Puerto Escondido and Huatulco. We're going to explore Oaxaca for the summer pretty much. We have to go back to Cancun at the beginning of August. Maybe go back to Puerto Morelos, and then at the end of August, we're gonna go back to New York at the end of the summer, and we're gonna fly out. We originally, what?
Why do we have to go back to Canada?
Because we have to do stuff with our visa.
Oh, that's right.
So from New York, we had talked about going to the UK, going to visit Toppy and some other streamer friends in the UK. And then Wendy brought up a good point. She said, we are studying Spanish. Why are we going to an English-speaking country? We really wanted to go to Portugal and Spain. Why don't we go do Portugal and Spain in the fall? And I said, you're absolutely right.
Hey.
So, what most people don't know until they try to travel long term is you can't go to most of the European countries for more than 90 days. You have to leave after 90 days. You can only be there for 90 out of 180 days. So you can be there for 90 days, but then you have to leave for 90 days.
Okay.
It's called, if you want to Google it, it's called the Schengen visa, Schengen, Schengen. So almost all of the European countries, with the exception of like Croatia, Albania, and the UK, are all part of this. So no matter where you are, whether you can go to Portugal, Italy, France, Spain, and Greece, it's all part of that 90 days. It doesn't start over once you go to a new country. So we're gonna go visit. We're gonna go visit Spain and Portugal for 90 days. Um,
That's a
probably come
great
back to the
call. That's gonna be
probably come back
amazing.
to
Yeah.
to practice our Spanish,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um, and then we're gonna come back to New York for Thanksgiving, visit with the family, and from there we don't know. Um, the world is our oyster from Thanksgiving. We'll have to see what we've seen, what we want to see, what life circumstances are. We've been trying to stay more or less one flight from New York in case, my mom is 88 years old.
Right,
And when you
right.
have a parent who's she's doing great, knock on wood for the fourth time in this stream, she's doing great, but at 88, 89 years old, you never know when you're going to be needed quickly at home. So, we've been trying to stay one flight away from home. Maybe we'll go to Costa Rica. That would be my first choice, after Thanksgiving to spend next winter in Costa Rica, or perhaps Panama, or perhaps
Yeah.
South America. Ecuador, yeah, South America. So we don't know yet. We haven't planned that far in advance yet. So
Yeah.
all of the Airbnbs and hotels are booked through April 20th, and beyond that, it's all just stuff that we're thinking about. It's semi-tentative, and that's what we're doing.
Cool. Two of us has come to LA. Well, I would certainly vouch for that because I'm here. So you have two incentives to come.
We would love to come to LA. More than anything, we'd love to meet Farrell Helena in person. Not that we don't want to meet you and see Tuba again, but Farrell is on the top of our list.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, completely valid.
and
Like,
and pet her in person,
yeah,
and do that. So one thing you don't really think about if you're not living this lifestyle is, what do you do about health insurance? Um, we don't have jobs anymore. Wendy's health insurance covered us while she was working, but we don't have that anymore. So as it turns out, they do have nomad health insurance, and we pay a couple $100 every month, and we're covered literally anywhere in the world that we go.
Except
And it's catastrophic care. It's not for if you get the sniffles. It's for if you get hit by a bus,
right.
or if you have something horrible happen. It's like, I don't know, $237 a month or something like that. So it covers us everywhere we go,
Mhm.
except the United
Of
States
course.
of America,
Of course.
who has the most fucked up expensive healthcare system in the world.
Of course.
So we're allowed to visit the US for 10 or 14 days every 3 or 4 months. And then we got to get out because we're not covered. So we have to pick and choose our time in the States wisely. There's going to come a time where we want to go to Hawaii and eventually to Australia and Southeast Pacific, Southeast Asia. So at that point, maybe we'll get to LA and visit everybody.
Yeah. I mean, from my point of view,
but-
I think I would just as soon be glad to just meet you somewhere else than even here if it comes,
I'm down in
given the choice.
Mexico, Dave. You got roots here, for
I
God's
know,
sakes.
for sure. It's fun, it's hilarious. So you've seen more of it than I have.
Do you
Kind of
speak
embarrassing
Spanish?
if you think about it.
Do you speak Spanish or no?
Not great. It's not my first language, but I certainly understand it very well. I can understand what people are saying a lot of the time, but trying to speak it back, I speak it, but I could do better, but I'm getting better. I've got, obviously, with my family and everything, so I can do it. I think I could do it. But what happens a lot at least in LA, like, I tend to try to speak Spanish to people. They just start talking to me in English. They can tell that it's not my first language as I speak. So
Right.
it's kind of them, but it's also kind of like what you were doing. Like, you want to get good at it. So you want to practice, and I do too. Like, I want to get better at it as well. Yeah. He speaks it, but fucks it up, just like when we try to speak English, we fuck it up. That's fair. That's a good way to put it. Oh, Debbie!
My biggest problem is hearing loss, because I had so many years of rock and roll.
Mhm.
Like, I can barely hear in English, and I know all the words in English. So in Spanish, it's just like, you throw the hearing loss in, you throw the lack of vocabulary in on top of that, and then you throw the speed at which the native speakers talk on top of that, and I'm just dead in the water. I can't understand it.
No, I hear you. I hear you. It's,
And then you have dialects, you have accents,
Right,
you have
right.
slang, and there's so much to it.
so much to it, but it's true in
So
English as well.
all I want to say, to Farrell is, tu eres chingona.
What?
That's all I
That's
wanna
a kind of a. I don't know if I would say that. But you mean it. You mean it as in. But you mean it lovingly, right?
say. It's a very loving phrase.
I'm sure it is. No, actually, to be fair, like I think we do that. Like I think my relatives, we do that. We kind of just like you're giving people shit all the time. Like it's always really fun. So, Farrell would treat. We hear that, and I'm sure Farrell, if you, I mean, I can't speak for you, but I assume you would take that. Haha. See, there we go. Okay, Farrell embraces. I love it. I love it.
It's funny that a lot of the Airbnbs, the hosts that we message with, their messages are translated from Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
And for the non-Spanish speakers here, when you say "sí," everyone knows "sí" means yes. But when you spell it, it's the I has an accent over it.
Right.
So if you have a "sí" that doesn't have an accent over it, it actually means it's the word "if,"
Yeah.
"if."
Mm-hmm.
So when the messages come through translator from the Airbnb hosts, it sometimes will say "if" instead of "yes," and you have to translate it twice. Like this is like,
Oh,
what is he
sure.
talking
Because there's
about?
two. Yeah.
If there's no run, if there's running water, and not yes, there's running water. It's like it kind of
Oh,
it changes the whole definition of a sentence sometimes.
It's like through and through. Like
Yeah.
it could be through or although that's more of a homonym, but you get the idea. Like it's the same idea. Like they can be different things even though it's the same word. But the accent mark makes all the difference. That's confusing.
Yeah.
I salute you trying to decipher all that.
Well, it said something like it's Mikey B. I don't know where it's Mikey B has been on that, but he sent me a meme once. It said accents are important in Spanish because if you say mi papa with an accent over the A, tiene 47 años, right? And that would mean my father is 47 years old.
Yeah.
But if you don't have any accents or marks, it means that my potato has 47 assholes. So it's you have to make sure there's a big difference leaving out the accents and the other marks.
Amazing. By the way, Debbie, have a great rest of your night. Thank you so much for hanging out, Mr. Debbie. Good to see you. It was awesome to have Debbie around. Well, that's
anyway. We should wrap up.
Yeah, that sounds good. Have a great time tomorrow and the rest of your trip, of course. Keep us posted. We'd love to keep up with you. I'll show everybody where to keep up with Kenny and Wendy. They're on Instagram. They're also on. Would you advertise at Facebook? Because I mean, we can. I'll just leave it at Instagram for now. But Instagram.
If you want to be my Facebook friend, you got Wendy is scratching her back with a steak knife right now. I wish you could see this.
Yeah.
Please don't cut yourself.
Oh my gosh. Careful, Wendy. Yeah.
So if you would like to be friends with me on Facebook, from a computer, my last name is Friedman. It looks like fried man. Frito, hombre frito. But you can find me quickly on a computer if you type facebook.com/Kenny Doe, DOE, like John Doe, but Kenny Doe. And if you send me a friend request and your Twitch handle doesn't look like your name on Facebook, just shoot me a message because I don't accept every friend request if I don't know who it's from. So just friend request me and shoot me a message. Just said, hey, I'm Alistair from Facebook or from Twitch.
Cool.
So that's all.
Cool.
Or Kenny's Adventures on Instagram. I don't post a whole lot on either. I'm not terribly, you're not going to see 5 posts from me a day. You'll see maybe 1 or 2 posts in a week or 2.
Well, we always treasure those. I mean, they always some great visuals. So yeah, give her a friend a follow on Instagram. You can keep up with the adventures, even if they, whenever they do come. Kenny's Prog Rock Jukebox Fun Time Extravaganza Happy Time Thing. That was
You know
cool.
about that?
No.
Bill Larkin is streaming tomorrow. Give Bill a shout out because you need to follow Bill. So I was Kenny's Prog Rock Jukebox on Twitch. And
Yep.
Bill felt that this name was entirely too long. So he made it even longer. So he would always call me, Kenny Friedman's Happy Fun Time Celebration Good Time Balloons.com or .org. So that's what he's referencing there. And Tuba Dudes, his mod, Tuba Dudes.
Tuba
Dudes. He's able to put the whole name in the chat in rapid succession.
Oh, that's wild. That's great. Hey,
But, yeah,
Tuba's a
Bill
whiz.
Bill hasn't streamed in a month, so
Yeah.
make sure you go visit him tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm going to make every effort to be there.
100%. Catch our friend Bill tomorrow. Catch our friend Firestone Rocks Drums. Thank you for the raid, Scott. Appreciate that very much.
And if you want to hear me sing, if you miss me singing and playing, go to Firestone Rocks Drums because you can hear me singing and playing on his streams.
Yeah, I want to try that. Next time I'm at that channel, I'm gonna put in a song that has like you on it. That would be really great for sure.
Always add balloons. Always add balloons.
Always add balloons. Always add balloons.
I think balloons is actually in the stream of words that Tuba puts in the chat. Tuba, can you do that in Davy's chat, or is that only in Bill?
That's a good question. But Uncle Al, Miss Gail, Joe Lopes, Tuba, Bill, Amber, Senior, Wendy, Sniper, Alistair, and let's see, and then Miss Gail. Everybody, thank you so much, everyone. Mod Scientist,
Hey,
welcome
Mod.
in. Hey there.
Mod Scientist is the best combinations of emotes on Twitch. And Mod Scientist sent me the nicest. After I did those streams a couple weeks ago, Mod Scientist sent me the nicest message.
Aw.
I still hear from people just about how much the shows meant to them during the pandemic and how we got them through difficult times, and it's just it really makes it all worth it, and it makes me feel terribly guilty for leaving, and it's but yeah, there's so many people in the chat who've been with me for 3-4 years now, and it's just it really it makes me feel great, and it's special, and I appreciate all you guys.
Well, we appreciate you too, Kenny. Like, it means a lot that you'd reach out and offer to help us kick off 2024. This is fantastic. Thank you so much. And
Happy second anniversary of my
first
stream with you of 2022.
happy second anniversary of our first collab.
Happy second was that our first interview together?
It was. I think it was. Yeah. January 2022. Yeah.
I hope I was your best guest ever. Am I your favorite guest?
You were
I'm
my
gonna be on the
best
spot.
guest of 2022 that day.
Is that a compliment, Wendy? My father has 47 asses. Well, my potato has 47 asses.
No, but in all seriousness, it was. I still remember that spot. It was a really, really awesome time, and every time we have you on, it's been great. Like, so thank you so much for hanging out, and it's really great to see.
I'm the best guest of 2024 so far. Cheers.
Yep. We'll drink to that. So, Kenny, last question.
There's Mod Scientist with the emotes. He's got the rolling eyes and the jukester lips. That's the best.
That looks
my
good.
favorite.
Yeah, big time props. I was gonna say, is there anybody from Quarantine Keys who's on tonight? But I'll give you the call as far as where to raid. I'm glad to take your.
Oh, there he goes.
Oh,
There he goes.
Jukebox Fun
Kenny
Time
Freeman's
Music Variety.
Prog Rock Jukebox Fun Time Music Variety Evening Extravaganza Happy Celebration Streamshow.org.
Or just click this.
I thought there were balloons in there. For some reason, I thought there were balloons, but I guess there will be now.
Thank you for the follow, Mod Scientist. That's really nice of you. Let us know if you stream because we'll shout you out too. But
one of my regrets is that we didn't get to meet because Mod Scientist is from New York.
Oh yeah,
but we didn't get to meet him before.
Yeah, big time props. Great to see you again too, Tuba. By the way.
Listen, I'm gonna come visit you in December of 24, and see if I was still the best guest of 24.
I think it'll hold up. For a while.
Am I the drunkest guest of 24? That's
that's got legs. It's got legs too. Although we'll get some good competition throughout the year, though. To be fair, but I mean, it's got. This is so much fun. But yes, who's on? Let's go see who's on.
Who we raiding?
Carlo
is on.
Carlo is on. I like the call. Oh, I ain't angry. Thank you so much for your 500 bits. Great show as always. Well, you're very kind. It's people that you met like you that make the show really great. And Kenny, I'm honored to have you back.
It's people like me who make the show really great. It's people. I'd like to thank the makers of Absolute Vodka for making the show really great.
Thank you, Bill, for the 250 bits as well. Yeah, let's go do it. Let's go do it. I want to thank Carlo.
Come on over, Wendy. Say goodnight to the people.
Hi, Wendy.
Senorita Wendita's going to say goodnight. Where are you going to be? Over here. She's right over here. Camera.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
She's got her wet Wendy shirt on.
It's great to see you, Wendy. Good night. Good night, my friends. Take care, everybody.
All right, Davey, thank you for having me on.
Thank you too.
Thank you and everyone else here in the chat for not forgetting about me and us and
Thank you, Davey.
and all the joy that we inevitably bring to your lives. Wow, inevitably, that's a hard word to say when you're drunk.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Gubernatorial.
And don't forget to go to Bill Larkin's channel tomorrow, too. And shout out to the Phonic Photon, too. Yeah. Yeah, Bill Larkin tomorrow. Be there. Tomorrow night. 8 to...
Oh, there's a hype train coming.
Certain time. I know. I'm a little scared about that. Let's start the raid.
Who are we raiding? Carlo?
We're going to raid Carlo. Let's go raid the stream scribe, everybody. Copy the raid calls. We're going to head over there.
All right. Bork.
We're going to bork up our friend Carlo's stream. Thank you again, everybody.
Is there any connection between Bork and the Swedish chef from the Muppet Show?
I think it's a coincidence, but we definitely adopt him into the canon because I think it's great. Like he says Bork all the time, so we love it. So I think it's a coincidence, but we'll take it. You know what I mean?
It's a Beaker synergy.
Yeah, Beaker synergy. I like that. Yeah, Ray Bork. I remember Ray Bork. Pretty good. Hall of Famer, right? Yeah. Take care, friends. Thank you so much. Unless there's yeah, be kind to each other. We'll see you tomorrow night. I mean, we'll see you at Bill's tomorrow night for sure. And then
yes,
yeah. So be there. Don't miss it. Bye, everybody. We'll see you at Carlos. Go make sure to follow if you're not already. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Davey.
Thank you.